And if they don't know, now they know. What up, family? Welcome to the Black Alpha Network. We are back one more time. Y'all know we had to pull up. If it is Black August season, well, I'm a certified foundational Black American, and I was born in August. So y'all know we got to crank up the heat, full speed ahead. Certified salute to the whole family. But before we go any further, I need everybody to tell me, where are you at right now? Because y'all know this is whole FBA lineage thing that's really, really popping right now. And we've been out here really putting down that work, Alabama work. We've been dropping them hands and them feet and tossing folks in rivers and lakes and all that. So I need to know where the whole family is. Y'all put it in the chat, FBA roll call. I want to know where the fam at, because y'all know I'm broadcasting live from the great state of Georgia by way of OHIO. But we're going to turn up, family. And I got some of my brothers in here, because y'all know we can't go live on the Black Alpha Network without bringing out the stars. So I got me some A1 listers right here, man. We're going to do it real big. And I want everybody to understand that wherever we are is where it's at. Whenever foundational Black Americans step in the building, everybody got two choices. They can get out the way that way, or they can get the fuck out the way that way. But guarantee you, they will be getting on out the way. So certified salute to y'all. Let me bring up my family, my brothers right here. We have first and foremost my brother. Y'all know him. He go by the name of Afro Elite. What it is, what it do, man.
B1 to you, Black Alpha. B1 to the family. Thank you very much for having me. We're going to have a very loaded with information and fun broadcast tonight. I've been excited ever since you pitched this to me. I'm like, definitely. I cleared my schedule to make sure everything else. I'm like, put it to tomorrow, do it the day before. I have to be free because I have to join this. So tonight's going to be fun. Tonight is going to be fun and educational.
Certified salute to you, my brother. And y'all know I also got to bring my other brother on. We are the new Black media. We are the vanguard. And, some people say we kind of like, another big three coming up in the game. So with that said, I got to bring on my brother. And I got to say it right, brother. This is my brother, Torian Reigns, reloaded. What it do, brother?
What's going on? I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we are definitely in good company. Those on the panel. Shout out to you, Black Alpha, for having me on here. Shout out to you again. Also, Afro, and shout out to everybody that's in the chat. This is definitely going to be very interesting. I'm going to just put it like that. I don't think there's enough words in the English language to describe what y'all are about to see and hear this evening. But all I'm going to say is make sure that y'all strap in, because it's going to be a very interesting flight.
Yes, indeed. Y'all know on the Black Alpha Network, we like to go like 100 miles an hour with the top drop all the way back. So there's been something going on, this last couple of days that pretty much galvanized the whole family, got everybody turned up. It put everybody on the right page. We stay on the right page, but it's one thing being mainstream and being underground. See, we don't take the underground and we brought it to the mainstream. So now everybody has to deal with us. They have to watch us and they have to observe. So since that happened, what would it be like on the Black Alpha Network without touching up on something that just happened recently in a place called Montgomery, Alabama? I want the family to look at the screen right now, and I want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I want to tell everybody that type of energy right there. It's crazy because we got us some real certified FBAs, but the star might be that chair right there. I don't know. This is what I heard, man. That's what the streets tell me. Torian, how do you feel, brother, when you watch some of them videos roll in and then the stories roll in and just everything that occurred? How do you feel about the whole event? And I do call it an event because it was.
I felt my spirits were lifted. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that ever, like in my lifetime, to that degree and to that magnitude. Hopefully it does not stop, here. But like I said, the world, not just the establishment that we're in, but the world has been put on notice. I must have watched this video over 50 times that day. I kid you not. I was editing a video, and when you're editing a video, you need to have your ears clear so you can hear the sound, especially if you're dealing with music. But I found a way, because I had one earpiece in and one open, with the phone sitting right here while editing and having that video just literally play in a loop while editing my video. I got it done, but I could not, it's like I said, I can't really put into so many words how liberating that was to see. That was just a situation right there that I don't think can ever be duplicated. I mean, if it ever comes to it, something similar happens again, just know the world has been put on notice. Do not F with us, because as you can see, this will be the end result.
How you
And
feel about it, bro?
shameless plug. I will be going live on Friday on my channel to discuss this more at length.
Woo! Y'all make sure y'all tap in. I'm gonna be front row seat. How you feel about that, Afro? Because I know, brother, me and you kind of talked about some of it the other day, but let the world know, brother. How was you feeling when you was watching that beautiful, wonderful footage?
I could not stop cheesing. I'm smiling like a kid in a damn candy store. The second I started watching it, and I'm seeing the thing, and they started jumping them, and I saw that black guy run across from. If you paid close attention, you saw that black guy run across. I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down, and then next thing you know, the camera, like, whoever, first off, masterful job to whoever had that damn camera, because they got all of the angles. Because you saw that dude, he ran across, then you saw the camera pan down a little bit, you saw that guy swimming in the water. You was like, oh damn, it's like it was like a movie, like a finale to a movie where everything was reaching its climax. It was like, damn, I'm watching it. And you know how on Twitter you can kind of watch a video without listening to the sound of the video. The video can, if you just like on your timeline, the video will just automatically start playing, and you won't hear anything unless you unmute it or click into the video. So I'm not thinking anything is going on, brother. I clicked that video and saw that sister narrating. I'm all like, oh my God. Her narrating was, it just, it floored me how beautiful the narrating was with everything. And so it was a couple of them fighting, and then a whole bunch of other brothers just started swooming in. I'm like, damn, where did all these people come from? And her narrating the whole time, everything excellent. From pushing him off the water. She's like, oh, she about to push him off the water. Damn. I'm like, fuck, man. Couldn't say nothing. Beautiful. Everybody in that. Just act excellent. That's black excellence, in my opinion. That's the definition. That should be what's in the dictionary. When you look up black excellence, you should see what happened that day. It should be a video, and you can click play, and that's what happens.
Man, somebody should get her a job. Like that fight that just happened last weekend with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They should have had her commentating, because she was blow by blow. Like she was breaking the dude was swimming. She broke that down. She broke down all the punches, all the kicks. That was day one. And like you said, brother, it wasn't like the shaky phone that's like you can't really see what's going on in the world star hip hop. That was just straight to the point, man. That lets you know that we different. But you know what really got me was that happened over the weekend. By Monday, brothers and sisters had shirts for sale. They was literally out there putting shirts on sale about a situation that happened over the weekend. You know, they was printing that up quick. Nobody can do it like foundational Black Americans. I got to ask both y'all this, man, because y'all know I'll be putting folks on the spot. I did this earlier, but I got to ask, what was y'all number one moment of the whole scrap? I need your. I got a whole time.
There was so many like moments for me. Like I don't think I can just narrow it down to just one. Of course, for me, one of the ones, of course, was the young brother swimming, who was only a teenager, by the way, only 16 years old, literally jumped off that boat and swam over in clothing, which, by the way, you have to use your whole body to swim. And usually some people will be exhausted. You got to think, when you look at Olympic swimmers, all they have on is a swim cap, some goggles, and a Speedo. This guy had on a shirt, some khakis, and some shoes. Swam over there, climbed up on a dock, and still had enough energy to go put in that work when they got to the other end of the dock. Like, that's a lot of stamina that he had right there built up. Of course, that's like a moment right then. And of course, seeing all the nicknames they came up with him. Listen, they had names on top of names on top of names on top of names stacked up for that they give him, like, to the point where it was like, it's amazing how creative we can come when it comes to these names. Of course, the other one for me was when those sisters threw that woman into the water. Like they literally started dragging her and just put her in the water and just went back to work. I like how they cornered them. Like they thought they was going to run up, and then like they just created like a barrier to keep it from coming through, and then they just ran up. Remember the part where the guy, I don't know if y'all saw it, but he almost ripped the railing off of their boat. Like, do you know how much strength you have to rip off a metal railing from that boat? like that's a lot of strength. But of course, one of the bigger highlights of the whole video is what you see in this picture, and that's that chair. That chair has literally become a star in and of itself, as well as the person who was using the chair. So that's why when I saw this picture today, I couldn't help but laugh, because I'm like, they actually went back and they found that chair and took a picture with it. The chair has literally become its own celebrity in its own right. Therese saying we need to get that chair into the Hidden History Museum. So it's like I said, it's so much that happened in that one video that you can't really narrow it down to one. But those for me were my highlights.
What about you, Afro?
First thing, I want to shout out to everybody who was there, but the swimmer is what I would say is really what floored me, because like Torian was saying, swimming, you have to use your entire body to swim. All right. Swimming takes a lot out of you, especially to swim fully clothed and not even have the preparation that you're going to do that. Just instantly see something and jump off a boat into a lake of water or river of water, swim to a dock and pull yourself up just based off of that alone. Do you know how bad? I'm gonna just say this. You know how bad you want to beat somebody's ass when you swim off, you jump into a lake and swim to the other side and pull yourself up. After that, when they saw that brother swimming, they should have gave it up, because y'all don't know what he's coming with. But whatever he's coming with, y'all not ready for. If somebody is that confident and that determined to whoop ass that they would jump off a boat and swim to the dock to whoop your ass, it's over with. It's done. Y'all don't even need all of the other brothers, the chair and everything else. That was just the icing on the cake. It was over. But the second he jumped onto the dock, the second he pulled himself up on that dock, it was over with for all of them. I think, and then he started body slamming people bigger than him. He could have took them all. I think he could have took them all, to be honest. It's just everybody else came. They just wanted to get their licks in, if we're just going to be honest with it. So hey, that's what did it for me.
You made a tweet, bro, the other day. Massive tweet, bro. Hey, tell everybody what that tweet said.
I said, hey, white folks be like, try that in a small town. And black folks, okay, bet. Y'all say, try that in a small town? We say, okay, bet.
Hey, man, yo, my part was the brothers that was skipping. They pulled up. Skipping. Hey, you know, because I think everybody done did that at least once. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or had a family member. You might be scrapping and your cousins come or your brother or sisters come and they were just skipping. When I seen them brothers skipping, I said, oh, it's about to go down. Oh, it's about to go down. Yeah. Really, they set it off because dudes were trying to get on the boat and like leave.
Yeah.
They popped them and pulled them off.
Yeah, they want to leave. They were trying to leave then. I mean, at that time, it was already too late. And the thing is also, too, like leading up to them, like skipping, that's when the boat finally docked. And literally, like a horde of the employees, anyone wearing a blue shirt and some khakis was an employee, all literally ran like a line off that boat and came charging down that dock. And what was even more funnier too is because I think some of the people that was on the boat actually was fighting. I think that's where the guy who had the chair, I think he was on the boat that came off the boat. And when those ladies came up and all I could think about was them two ladies, the one in the white and the other woman. She wasn't putting that bag down for nothing, but she was going to get her hits. She had their bag in her hand, but she was going to get her hits.
That whole situation was like FBA to the maximum. Like everything that happened in that scrap, you could see like us doing it, you know, from the skipping. The hat, that brother threw his hat in the air. That man threw, and he did it like straight up arrogant with it. He just flipped. He didn't even throw it. He flipped it. As soon as he flipped it, like you said, Afro and dude came running down the little stoop, and he was kind of looking back. I was like, oh man, it's about to go down. That type of energy is the energy that I tell people. They think, or I think they want to believe that only exists on the internet, but then they really come to find out like, nah, brothers and sisters is really on that type of time.
Yeah.
And you see it. How do y'all feel this situation, if harnessed correctly, which is where we all come in, and I'm talking about everybody in the chat, how do y'all feel the situation can, propel us to, make our own moment? Because like I said before, all of the moments that we always get put on us are like bad things, like we got harmed, and let's go back and reflect on something that happened 60 years ago and it was bad. This is a situation where we could look back on and be like, no, that was really damn good. And then we could set the precedence. A lot of people always say we wouldn't even be in these situations had these situations right here occurred, I don't know, maybe with George Zimmerman or other people of that sort. So how do y'all feel we can take this right now and move forward? Either one of y'all can take that, man. Y'all know how we do.
I think that, like I said, with this situation, I think it put the world on notice, because a lot of people are often so used to saying, oh, Black people are so divided. There's no unity there. And it was in this moment right there that they found out wrong. They're banking that this is going to be a one-off thing. Like it'll probably won't happen again or anything like that. But the truth be told, it happens more often than people think. It's just that this one happened to be caught on camera, but we're glad that it did, because this was one of like these supreme moments. Like when we get to like all the moments or everything, the moments that happened in 2023, this one's going to be ranked up pretty high. Like this is going to be one of the moments that we're going to look at a year from now and be like, do y'all remember what happened on August 5th in Montgomery? Like they might have like a commemoration ceremony right down there on that dock a year from now. People might actually travel down there for that weekend that's not even from there, probably never been to the state, just to say, wow, this is where where that happened at. But like I said, again, it definitely put the world on notice. People are now more aware that Black people, particularly foundational Black Americans, are not playing around. If they didn't get the memo before last weekend, they definitely got it now, because it's literally everywhere. Like I said, I believe the whole world at this point has probably seen it. I can't tell you how many times I saw this thing trend over the weekend. Like it was like literally dominating the trend list on, I don't know if I should call it X or Twitter, the app formerly known as Twitter, but it was literally trending everywhere to the point where you could not go anywhere without seeing it. I saw so many people talk about it on YouTube. People talked about it and posted about it on Instagram. You had different, even famous people talking about it and all different type of stuff. So it's going to be one of those things that's going to be talked about, but it's going to definitely be a propelling thing going forward. As a matter of fact, I had saw a video on someone else's channel. I don't know if it happened after what happened on Saturday or if it happened before, but there was an incident where it was this Black man inside of a Walmart and he was getting harassed by these two police officers or whoever they were, because this definitely wasn't security. And it was another Black man that he was like defending them, and they were trying to say that he was stealing something. But the thing is, what he had in his hand wasn't even out of Walmart. It was from Ross. I'm like, did you not see the tag? It didn't say Walmart. And he stood right there the whole time. But one of the funniest parts of the video was when the Black man who was defending the other Black man that was there, he saw that the cop was looking at him funny. He looked right dead over at that cop. He said, you bet not even think about doing shit to me. Don't even try it. He looked right at him and said it. And that cop just kind of casually turned his head. But the thing is, they literally talked them down so hard to the point where he told the female cop to put her taser away. He said, put your goddamn taser away. You ain't going to do shit. And she put it right in her pocket. Dang. I kid you not. I literally just watched that video like maybe about an hour before we got started. And I was like, I said, see, this is what was needed. So now you're going to probably see this a lot more often. But again, like I said, I truly believe this has always been happening, but it's never been documented. But I think people are going to be aware now. And don't think that just because you might see a Black person by themselves, there's no one else around that ain't going to come out of the woodworks the way that they did in Alabama. They was just like, everywhere. That's why that meme of the Doctor Strange portals is so funny, because that's literally what it was like. They coming out the portals, like where are they coming from? So yeah, but that's pretty much my take on it.
Well, I want to say a lot of what I was going to say is Torian said, but and I want to add on to this. We're constantly getting told, like Torian was saying, Black people don't stick together. Black people don't look out for each other. Everybody's in for themselves. You know what I'm saying? We're constantly getting told that, but we see this video, and one of the best parts about this video is it like let a fire under everybody, every Black person. It like set this spark up on every Black person as you're watching the fight. And I can speak for myself, and I could damn near speak for everybody listening in this chat room right now. We got a lot of people in here. It set a spark where it's all like, ooh, if I was there, I would have been throwing.
Yep.
Nobody was looking. Nobody looked
Yeah, I
at
saw a
the
lot of
video.
that.
Like, you know what? That's cool. Everybody looked at the video, and it's almost like your emotions was tied into it. Like, oh, I wish something like this would happen around me.
Yeah.
People felt like that was an opportunity.
Mhm.
People felt jealous that they were there. Like, oh, why can't nothing like that happen when I'm around? And see, this is good. This is good. For us, this is good for us because now Black people are going to be in the mentality of anything can pop off, just like that situation with the doc. Anything can pop off. So now every Black person should be, we're not gonna say they are, but they should be, or at least if they right then and there, they're gonna be at the mentality of, oh, if it can pop off anywhere and I'm gonna jump in. We're used to seeing the trend of somebody getting beat up or facing racism or something like that, and everybody's around. There's several different cell phone footages of somebody getting beat up by a race soldier or anything like that, and nobody's stepping in. We're used to seeing with the Karens all like, I'm calling the police, or blocking somebody from their apartment. Are you sure you live here? Let me see your ID. We're used to seeing that, and then it started to become a trend where you weren't seeing that anymore. Then you started to see the trend where they were like, oh, you're gonna have to show me the ID, and then somebody would throw her away, and move her out the way. You saw Black people, instead of saying, oh, you don't understand racism is bad, the talking phase where Black people are trying to like de-escalate racism or talk down racism, you started to see that go down, and Black people started to handle their business accordingly. You started to see that trend flip back in the right direction. Now with this situation, we can see the trend of Black people being all like, hey, almost, I want the smoke too. So now Black people, anytime a Black person is going to be harmed at all, every Black person is going to be like, hey, you're under my protection. I'm looking out for you, because every Black person kind of wanted to smoke in that moment. So that was a beautiful moment right there. And I hope the trend continues with that.
Yo, y'all right, because it has been like an escalation of like, we'll explain ourselves. Then it got to, I ain't explaining no goddamn mo. And then what you said afro, then we can kind of just move them out the way politely. Then it came to like move them out the way by throwing them in the water or moving them out the way with your hands. That's a hell of a progression. And we're the only ones who can really do that. I'm telling you right now, that situation, and I love that Brother Tariq was talking about getting that chair and putting that right there in the museum. I mean, that's brilliant. That's, FBA, we're going to rub it in a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing wrong. The chair memes, I'm sorry, the chair memes had me going. Like when they was putting it in with Malcolm X and Harriet Tubman handing the chair away, or all the people dancing and they got all the chairs like that, The
funniest one I saw was somebody had a picture of the chair and they put they put 2 pairs of Black Air Forces on it, one on each leg. That one had me dying.
Oh, that's wrong. That's boy, Black folks cold. Black folks cold. We've been
the SS dead ass one, that was the one for me. With the that said SS dead ass. that one, like I said, I was laughing so hard that I started to sweat. That's how hard I was laughing at that one.
Yo, and it's only been what, 3 days? It's been 3 days. It feels like
3 days. Yep.
A month. You know what I'm saying? Like there was 2 months worth of content, jokes, and memes that all occurred in a matter of 2 or 3 days. I mean, that's it. My birthday, like I was telling everybody, my birthday was on Wednesday the 2nd. And that came around in a few days later. So that was like the best birthday present ever. I'm going to take that all the way to the bank. I'm going to hold on to that one like all year. Hopefully I can get that same present next year, and a couple days in between, if y'all know what I'm saying. So hopefully we can hold on to that. But I want to thank everybody in Montgomery, Alabama that was, involved in that situation for giving me, Black Alpha, the best birthday present that I have got in a very, very long time. So I appreciate that. And I was telling everybody earlier today, my mother, who's FBA all day certified, my mother put that on our calendar. Okay, so it's on the calendar and it's like a holiday. So you're gonna see, 4th of July, you're gonna see Christmas, and you're gonna see Halloween, and then you're gonna see Montgomery, Alabama, right on the Black Alpha, calendar, man. But I'm gonna tell everybody this. This is something we're gonna have to look out for. We got to be careful of folks from the dominant society who are pretending to really like that situation. They're all kind of making these little memes and these reenactments like it's funny. To me, that's the same person who runs around and they say, yo, 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 and they down with rap all day long, but they be the main ones as a juror on our trials going against us and writing guilty verdicts before the trial even begins. They're trying to suppress this by making jokes. They're trying to use humor to really make jokes. So when you see a situation happen like Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Sandra Bland, Corinne Gaines, and the majority of the dominant society always just shrugs and be like, well, we don't know what happened, what should, but wait till the facts come out. Those are the same people who are out here right now trying to make jokes about the situation because they know goddamn well they didn't like seeing Karen and Ken tossed all around. If you believe that Karen on TikTok is supporting Karen in Alabama getting thrown in water, that's a lie. She's fronting. So I want to show everybody this thing that came across my timeline. And this right here is a particular Karen. And she's trying to act like she's down with it. And it was so cool to her. And, it was the best thing ever. But in reality, this is what I want the family to look out for is that these folks are not making these jokes because they agree with what happened. They're making these jokes because they're trying to suppress what happened. So I'm going to break down this little clip right here. And I want the family to check this out because this right here is the opposition that we speak of, and they know how to make a joke out of something just so they can go ahead and try to get it out the news. All this is when Joe Biden comes around and he tries to sign the law so he can, hijack our protests. They're trying to hijack the situation. Watch this.
What happened in Montgomery, Alabama was absolutely hilarious. Oh, y'all really let Jason Aldean gas your heads up, huh?
Wait a minute. First off, what the hell was that laugh? Did y'all hear that? What the hell? Ain't nobody laughing like that, and they really think it was cool. That laugh.
And she about to turn as red as a beet too.
That was goddamn Kamala Harris laugh. So damn. She looked like she just got tossed in the damn water. Okay, proceed.
That was your first mistake. You don't take fighting tips from a fake cowboy who wears bedazzled skinny jeans. I love to see it. Those idiots were on the boat all day listening to that song on repeat. I can't wait, Bubba, till they try that in a small town. We'll show them. I've never seen a song taken away from a group of people so quickly in my life. A month. You had a good run.
Hey, Afro, I'm looking at your face right now. Afro, like, what the hell is that laugh?
I'm a little scared. I'm being honest. I mean, the face looked like if she didn't have to. Her face looks like she don't have to put on a lot of makeup to look like a witch. I'm just gonna be honest. It's the face is shaped like that. The chin is very pointy. The laugh is right there. She won't have to do that much.
You saying you don't know where the chin ends and where the face begins?
Oh, and I already know what the comments are going to say in this video. How could you celebrate violence? Both sides were wrong. You're causing a divide. Why can't we all just get along? Do you know why there's so much glee and happiness and celebration after this brawl? Because the scenario never ends this way. And we've seen that one too many times, where a group of angry white men go to attack an innocent black man. And in this case, an innocent black man who was just trying to do his fucking job. This isn't how the story usually ends. And that deserves to be celebrated. So you think about that before you say some shit like that. And understand why people are happy and people are celebrating. So, Mr. Aldean, it's time to whip out your notebook and pencil and write a new anthem. Anyways.
Okay, I call bullshit all the way.
If that's her, if that is her way of trying to get an invite, if that's her way of trying to get an invite to the cookout, it's closed. So I don't know. Like the summer is almost over. So I mean, you go to the potluck or something like that, or wherever it is where raisins is an ingredient in potato salad. because it's not going to be over here.
She just reeking the unseasoned food, brother, all the way across. How do y'all feel about them trying to pull that stuff? Because we've seen them do that before, where like a Democrat have a problem with a Republican, because that sounds to me like she probably votes Democrat, and she associates them. Mm-hmm.
She's trying to get in on the algorithm. She knows that this is trending right now, so everybody's talking about it, and we can tell she's not coming at it from a place of, oh, I'm actually glad this happened. It's telling me that she sees, like I said, again, it's in the algorithm, and she has to jump in wherever she can fit in to get as many clicks and views as she possibly can.
I want Black people to be very, very aware of that type of white people, okay? Because in this almost a shameless plug segues to what I was talking about yesterday with white allies. They come in and act like they're against racism and act like they're against all that stuff, and then later on you see the switch up. That same woman, if she was on a trial, she was on a jury and everything, she would deem the Black person guilty. And let her be on a jury where nobody can see what she votes for, nobody can see what she deems the Black person is guilty, or she'd let a white cop off and be all like, I'm sorry guys, Black men don't get any justice, Black Lives Matter. You guys got to be very, very careful of the fake Black Lives Matter wannabe type chicks at all, because those are never, notice in these situations, all of these white allies that you see, you don't ever see them breaking the story. You don't ever see them exposing anything, telling anybody's name. It's us who do that. Notice there was no white allies with Daniel Penny, right? Nobody knew who his name was, what his name was. We found out what his name was, and we put the story out on blast. We made we made the video go viral. That was us. And then we found out what his name was. And we are the ones who's really made the story a big, big story. These white allies that claim that they care so much about Black people and what happens to Black people, they're not around when they could be useful, but they show up after the fact, and then they're all like, come on guys, good job. I swear I hate it when racism and racist white men and no, y'all don't get to come after the fact when we starting to celebrate and y'all just dance on in the room. That's not how that works.
You're gonna call that dancing?
yeah.
That's a good point, brother, because I promise you, has there been any situation where we haven't got hit with the fake ally from that community? I mean, every single thing you could think of, because they know they can talk fake ally and it doesn't go anywhere. Y'all know in the system of supremacy is about playing both sides of the argument. You got to have a good cop and you got to have a bad cop. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It's really what we say is the supremacist sacrifice. She has to come out and pretend. You know, you're going to have the other ones who are going to be angry, overt, and then you're going to have the other ones who are going to be covert with it. And that's all she's really doing. She's just fronting, trying to pretend that she's so down, but nah. We don't buy that at all. Like you said, brother, it's really just them once again cosplaying. And as we talk about, cosplaying done went wrong. So a lot of these folks who've been out here cosplaying, whether you cosplaying an ally or you cosplaying a friend or a buddy, we see through that. And they're not used to that because they're used to a time where that stuff always worked. It was like 100 out of 100. You know, they shot the basketball 10 times, they hit them all. Now it's to the point where they can't even get any of that across because we are calling them out based on that type of logic. So we're going to continue to see that. But y'all know there's another person that, you know, since we go on full speed, there's another person that is one of the most anti-Black people that you'll ever see, you know, and he is a Black person himself. We talked about him a week ago. His name is Holden Martin. And y'all know, yeah. Salute to everybody. Holden, you know, Holden put down the whole goddamn left side of the menu of McDonald's and listen, okay. Holden Martin now is running around acting like he supports what's happening. You know, they got to act like they don't support supremacy. In reality, he works for supremacy. It's called the Democratic Plantation. So Holden Martin is running around. I'm going to play this clip, and I want everybody to go ahead and check this out, because now you're going to have him coming around acting like he supports it, acting like he's down with it. But y'all know standing up to supremacy is the last thing Holden Martin would ever want to do. So he had a little show, you know, that gets no views, you know, probably about 6 people watching. You know what I'm saying? Look at him right there. He looked like he hungry. He looked like he ain't even thinking about that. He's probably thinking about Alabama barbecue. Look, he ain't even looking at the damn camera. Somebody waved the goddamn biscuit on the side. That's why his eyes is off to the corner and stuff. You ready to hurry up? Listen to this man speak about it, and I want y'all, because I know y'all brothers certified. Y'all gonna poke holes in every single thing he says, and I want y'all to watch how he's being a black grassroots imposter. And I want y'all to also notice how he would never talk like this unless the black grassroots was in effect and unless he was stealing our lingo. This right here is somebody who is a Democratic shill who is trying to steal our lingo and our energy. Our energy is to be supportive of our brothers and sisters. And in reality, he's not. He's just pretending. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip and let y'all see how this man is trying to be another cosplayer.
The thing here, Renita, is here. But and I'm going to say this, and again, this is not glorifying. It's people like, oh, man, y'all making light of it. No, we have shown now for multiple years, black folks barbecuing, a little black girl selling lemonade.
Whoa. Y'all notice he started off by saying barbecue, right? he couldn't even get 2 seconds into that damn answer. Barbecue. Yeah, goddamn. Focus, Holden. Focus, goddamn. Look, he looking down now. He looking down now. He got that great value. Here we go.
A black man with his car 1 inch in the cross.
What the hell got on his hand? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, let me let him go. All right, go ahead.
Walk. A black man at FedEx and a black man at UPS trying to deliver packages, getting shot at, getting threatened, getting cussed out, having the cops call on them. Black folks have been, black man looking at some damn birds in Central Park, and the white woman threatened to call the cops. Black
all
people
that sass.
have been just doing their job.
See all that sass. It has no neck. He literally looks like Uncle Dookie off of Rock-a-Doodle. I don't know if any of y'all remember that movie, but he literally looks like Uncle Dookie off of Rock-a-Doodle. Some of the people in the chat probably know what movie I'm talking about, but basically Uncle Dookie is an owl. He's an evil owl, and that's what Roland Martin looks like in this moment right here.
That man literally, you ain't lying, bro. That man literally ain't got no neck. He literally, like, somebody tell me where you see a neck in that damn picture. He looking off camera again. Why ain't he looking at the camera, man? Somebody must be waving some goddamn chicken wings or something over there to the side, brother. His ass is fully goddamn distracted. God damn. Hold on, brother. Here we go.
Going about their regular black lives, and hell, we just showed the black guy in a neighborhood, they won't leave his ass alone fishing. I mean, like, they have called the cops. And so people need to understand, black people are tired of being mistreated by white folks in this country. And guess what? They ran up against a brother and didn't realize, they thought, it's 5 or 6 of us. We can beat him down. No, the black posse came rolling through.
Did he say posse?
Rolling.
Oh, rolling. Hey, see? There you go. That's the same way he walks.
Because I wonder, what would Roland Martin have done in that position if he was there?
Oh.
He probably would have had his food right there in front of him, and he would have just been looking around, sucking on a neck bone, wondering what the hell is going on. He is not getting up from that table to do nothing
right now.
except to throw away his tray. Oh, God.
His eyes bucking. Hold on. Family, hold on. Is his eyes bucking? Hold on now. Tell me.
When aren't they?
God damn.
Yeah, his eyes is bucking heavy.
He looked like he just pressed his lips to a helium tank. Looking like one of them balloons in the movie Up.
Oh, holy, come on, brother. God damn, man. Jeez, oh goodness. Man, all right, so y'all heard him trying to use our talking points, right? It gets worse than that, by the way. He starts using our talking points. Black folks are tired of this. Black folks tired of this. Now, when black folks say that we tired of the Democratic plantation and we tired of voting Democrat and getting nothing in return, he don't agree with that. So doesn't it seem, again, family, like somebody who is basically just mimicking what we say, trying to use our talking points and trying to look down? Because all of these shills, the shills got a tough job. The shills have to make it look like they down with us, but at the same time serve massa. And there's really no fence to straddle in that situation. Well, you know, he can't, goddamn. That motherfucker barely straddled goddamn concrete. But y'all know what I'm talking about. When it come down to a shield, they got to play both sides. And he's obviously trying to play both sides because y'all know in this same situation, if those black folks said that they were not going to vote for Joe Biden, he'd be in there cussing at them and beeping all over the goddamn place. How do y'all feel about how we handle these black grassroots imposters? Because they're coming further and further. We're starting to see more and more black grassroots imposters who study us, who watch us, and who cosplay us. And y'all know right now, cosplaying has went wrong. How do you spot and identify these people who act like they're down with us, but they're really not?
Just look at the history. Look at the stuff that they talked about in the past or didn't talk about. Especially, I always say that the topic of reparations is the litmus test at this point. Like, how do you feel about reparations? Do you believe Foundation of Black Americans should get reparations? Many of them can't even get past that question because they'll always say no.
Yeah. That's true. They'll say no because they know if they say yes, they have to, whatever their answer is, they have to stand on that permanently. You know what I'm saying? So they can't say yes and then flip back and say no. If they say yes, they'll say yes, but, or yes, and some type of way, or yes, but is some type of exception. Now, what's interesting that I want to point out is that Roland Martin brought up a bunch of different situations where black people were being harassed by different, racists and all that. But particularly, he brought up the fact that the black man was being, the cops were called on him in New York when he was bird watching by that Karen. All right. Now, what's interesting about that is that in New York City, New York is ran by the Democratic Party. So in these situations where the Democrats are running these areas, you still have these racists coming up and harassing black people. So he's advocating for the Democrats. He doesn't assume that we're going to think this deep into what he's saying. He's going to assume we're going to get caught up into the moment of what happened with Montgomery. But let's be 100% honest. What are the Democratic Party? What is the Democrat doing? The Democratic leader, the governor, mayor, president, chairman, what are they doing to prevent situations like that from happening? What would they do to prevent a situation like that from happening in Alabama? Okay, because stuff like that doesn't only happen in Alabama. Stuff like that happens in Alabama. Stuff like that happens in Florida. Stuff like that happens in DC, Chicago. Stuff like that happens in New York and California. Stuff like that happens all over the place. And you see it happening in the Democrat city, but these Democratic cities don't do anything. They're not doing anything. So don't just get caught up on this one single incident. If you're going to bring up New York City, let's actually bring up and have a full conversation about, and what is the Democrats doing about that? They didn't do anything about that. They're not even wanting to do anything about Daniel Penny. So while you sit up there talking about this situation, this only proves that the Democrats don't do anything.
He thought it was a flex too, didn't he, brother? He thought he swear he like the most pro-black person in the room. It's like, brother, nah. Like, I like how you phrase that too, brother. Like, he'll get all the way to the fence when it comes to like criticize the Democrats, and then he just stops right in his tracks because he just can't go there. It's funny. One of the things I always say about people like him, and didn't Jason, what's that fat dude? What's the other fat
Whitlock
guy? Oh man. I heard he came out and said some off.
I know he did. This is a man that don't go outside either.
Oh yeah. It's too hot outside for him, man.
He don't even go outside when it's cold, warm, breezy, none of that.
His DoorDash and Uber Eats, that goddamn bill is probably goddamn $500,000, brother. Because
they probably know him by name at this point.
Oh yeah. Hey, they be having directions straight to his house and everything.
They don't even have to put the GPS in anymore because they know they know how to get there. They get called so much.
They already start preparing. They be like, "Oh, it's 5 o'clock. He's about to call. Y'all make your sandwich already."
Once you seen one, you seen them all. That's why we try to tell the family, when you see these off-code, these cosplayers, like, you just seen every last one of them. And that's one of the things I love about this era now, is that we're not really going for that. Like, the people who put on the FBA jacket and then take it off whenever it's convenient, they're getting exposed more and more and more day after day. One of those people, since we're going 100 miles an hour, that has been exposed as a cosplaying foundational Black American. And this guy been cosplaying us for a long, long time. He been cosplaying us from the very, very beginning. And he, a lot of folks was falling for it back in the day. But I truly believe that it's us in the Black grassroots. that pretty much put it into that type of cosplaying. We didn't really go for it. Matter of fact, I should pull up another video. I'm not going to do it though, brother. But I got another video of some of these off-code folks. There's so many to pick from. But the person right now who's been cosplaying us, and there was a tweet that came out this week, and people were trying to say that this guy was the first descendant of slave to be the president of the United States of America, and Foundation of Black Americans was on them quick. And this tweet right here was deleted. I'm going to read it for everybody right here. It was a guy named Tyler Perry. Y'all know him. And he said this about Barack Obama. He said, this photo was taken at my house. I bought these chairs. Oh, he said, bought these chairs. Look, see, goddamn. There we go. I bought these chairs from an auction because they belong to Abraham Lincoln. We both sat in them and had a conversation. I wondered when he freed slaves, could he have imagined that one day a descendant of those slaves would become president of the United States? Only in our America, and notice he said in our America, because they used to not really claim America back in the day, but the fact that we got Lineage Strong, he's doing it, so he's stealing our stuff. Only in our America, and with all of her flaws, what a great country we live in, and we must fight to keep our democracy. Happy birthday to you, President Obama. Family, is Barack Obama FBA?
Brother.
I was like, who getting ready to start? Who
Go ahead, brother. Y'all, any one of y'all take that. Y'all know the answer.
You got it, bro.
I'm stuck on the part where he bought chairs that belong to Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly.
Is that supposed to be some kind of symbolism? This is about as bad when they had Lizzo play Thomas Jefferson's flute. Or was it James Madison? I forgot. It was one of them slave owners. Either way, it's like, what symbolic gesture is that? That was the first thing. But then he went on to say, when he said he freed the slaves. Now, Tyler Perry, I want to believe that you are a very intelligent person. I mean, for you to amass all that you have, you couldn't be a dumb person and do that. But what slaves did Abraham Lincoln free? I'm stuck on that one. I'm trying to figure this out. Don't tell me, oh, it's that Emancipation Proclamation, or as Charlie Kirk will say, Emancipation Proclamation.
We're still checking them about that one.
Oh yeah, listen, Charlie Kirk is going to be forever on the radar. Forever.
My thing is this. My thing, and to piggyback off of what you were saying, Torian, he bought chairs at an auction. Okay, he didn't buy those chairs for cheap. That means he bid to get those. That means he really wanted those chairs. It's not like he saw a sale, was like, oh, okay, I'll pick those chairs. That means this man was determined to get chairs from Abraham Lincoln because of some symbolic value. And then he like, yeah, and we sat in these chairs. This goes, black people got to stop doing stuff like this. Like, haha, we bought chairs from a racist and now black people are sitting in it. That really will show them. No, that's not going to show them. That's like a black person being racial profiled at a store and then saying, oh, you guys think I can't afford anything because I'm black. Instead, I'm going to buy everything in the store. That's going to show you guys. No, that's going to give them money. Him buying chairs, it would be one thing if he bought those chairs and those chairs belonged to Frederick Douglass, or they belong to the Black Panther Party. If it would be one thing if it was like that, you know what I'm saying? It's a totally different thing. You're buying chairs from a racist president, a president who himself said he does not believe in the equality of the races, and he would see to it that the superior position is assigned to the white man. You're buying his property as if this is some type of flex, because he bought it and then posted it like it's some type of flex or something like that. And it made him look so stupid, so dumb. And then talk about for all of its flaws, for all of the flaws that we have. What you mean the flaws that the whole system is flawed. The foundation is flawed. Countries have flaws in it. Nothing is perfect. But the thing is that when you are starting off with a rotten core, a rotten foundation, you can't put anything good on a rotten foundation. The system is built off of slavery. And until they pay reparations, then the system is going to stay rotten and toxic and venomous to the core.
Yo, man, you know, it's funny because I don't think I've ever heard Tyler Perry ever say anything about supremacy. He may use racism and, you know, mean bad people, but I've never ever seen him actually speak on supremacy. So the fact that he came out, and by the way, Brothers and Sisters was on him fast for that one. That tweet got deleted so quick. I actually had to go search for it because some brothers and sisters had to screenshot it and then put it back up. But he got that up out of there. Wasn't there a time when they would just have that up forever? And it would just be like, yeah, I said it. And nobody would say a damn thing about it.
Mhm.
The very fact that brother and sister wasn't going for that, they was like, oh, no, brother. You better correct that. And y'all just pointed out there's like 7 misnomers in that little paragraph. You know, somebody said it looks like a love letter. And I tend to agree. It did kind of look like a love letter. That's another story. That would be a whole nother topic, man. We'd have to have a whole nother episode for that one. But, you know, we see the cosplaying again, and this is why cosplaying has went wrong. It ain't happening. People say, what happens when keeping it real go wrong? Well, this is what happens when trying to be a cosplayer go wrong. That stuff don't work anymore. You cannot pretend to be a foundational Black American. Either you are or you're not. And anybody who's trying to pretend, it ain't really been ending too well for them at all. There's a picture that went out a couple years ago. So that right there is modern. That's somebody trying to make a false claim about our lineage, heritage, and culture, which we take very serious and we're not really going for. But there was a picture that came out a few years ago, and y'all remember this, and the counterfeits and the Sambos was circulating this picture left and right, and this right here is blasphemy all day long, and I'm promising you, this would never, ever fly nowadays right here. It's one of those who don't belong here pictures, and we know goddamn well who would not belong here. Y'all remember that one?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, okay. That right there, family. That I remember when that
Yeah.
first came out and folks was sending that around. Y'all remember those little memes? They were like, sit like Rosa, you know, run like Jesse Owens, you know, dream like Martin, and then they would have Obama and they would just slide him in there. And the thing is that okay, well, he's never done anything for foundational Black Americans, and his record, these guys where they don't really know, and he tried so hard to work against the system. In reality, he's somebody who actually served the system. What are some of the differences y'all see? And I'll ask you first, Afro. What are some of the differences you see from the Obama Yes We Can era to now in the Hell to the No era?
I see a lot of the people wanted to believe. One of the biggest things I see is the excuse making, and the fact that people are like, you know what, Obama, you know, he's trying to do the best he can. He can't do everything, but it's good to have him anyway. It's good to have a black face in a high place anyway. The whole narrative of, well, as long as we can work our way from the inside and work our way up to the top, and once we get to the top and once we sit at the table, all we need is a seat at the table. We'll kiss ass, we'll lick boots, and we'll do all we need to do. As soon as we get that seat at the table, then we make the deal and everything's going to get better. They viewed Obama as, okay, finally we made it to this table. There's a black man in the highest political position this country has, so we're officially at the table. We're ahead of the table now. Now we just need to go through the phases where we talk about stuff like that. It wasn't until his constant disrespect and failure towards Black society, it wasn't really until his attack on Black society, because he didn't have to do it directly, but him allowing things to go on is really his indirect attack on Black society. If we were going to be honest, he indirectly attacked Black society. And it wasn't until Black people started getting them gut punches, and then it kind of woke Black society up to be all like, you know what, a black face in a high place is not real. We're kind of off that. It was a mass amount of Black people who are off that. And then some Black people slowly started to wing off like, no, Obama tried, he did what he could. But nowadays, you don't see too many Black people like, hey, man, I'm voting for him just because he's Black. Black people, for the most part, are not on that page at all, period. I'm voting for you because you're Black over this white person. You're going to have a few that's stuck in their ways, but the mass who are on that page during Obama's time is not nearly as many as today.
What's some differences you've seen, Brother Torian?
Well, definitely for me, what I'll put into this perspective, that was actually his first term when he got elected back in 08. That was actually my first time voting. So, and then on top of that, I went to an HBCU, so that was a very big time during that time, you know, especially, you know, a lot of us being 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and everything like that in that age range. The atmosphere was a whole lot different during that time. And then when you fast forward to now, it's like I think a lot of people definitely see it for what it is, even before then. And I think what happened was when he made that statement when Hillary was running against Donald Trump back in 2016, he had made that statement of something, and I'm just paraphrasing, that if to like secure my legacy or something like that, like vote for Hillary Clinton or something like that. And I was looking like, what legacy? And then you got to think about the stuff that she said with the super predator line. Then, of course, what her husband had going with the 3 strikes and everything like that. And you put all that in it. And then that's when a lot of people started to see him for who he is. I don't know if y'all saw a video recently where he was speaking at some kind of rally or something like that. And when he was beginning to talk off camera, you heard a bunch of people, I think it was like the usual suspects, saying F Joe Biden. Like they were saying like a chant, and they would doing something like that. That's a huge difference from where it was maybe like 10 plus years ago, where you wouldn't even hear something like that. It was all about, you know, the yes, we can. That's all you heard at that particular time. But I think it's because a lot of people are now getting more politically savvy, and they're understanding the political landscape and seeing what it is for what it is. It's like, if you're not going to do anything for us specifically, then we're not going to support you. And that's just how it's going to be. Like I said, this year, with this election cycle that's coming up, it's going to shock a lot of people. It's going to shock a lot of Black people too, because a lot of Black people have ingrained in their mind that even though we can quote unquote talk a good game, we're going to still act in the same vein as we've been doing for quite some time. But like I said, it's probably going to shock a lot of people because it may not go that way, but we'll see, because I can't see the future. So when November 2024 rolls around next year, we're going to see if people actually really are about what they say, or if it's going to be some of the same old.
You see him kind of running that game already, like trying to sprinkle in some of that Obama. And you're right, brother. He doesn't really hold weight like he used to. One of the biggest plays I remember them doing was the wait until his next term. That was something they would always say. And you actually threw me an alley-oop, Afro, how you said he actually actively worked against us. Some people, when they start caping for him, they'd be like, oh, what could he have done? You know, like he was this strong member of our society who just was getting blocked, and he tried so hard. But then you really look and you'd be like, nah, this dude actively worked against us. And Black folks used to actually call him out on and say, what have you done for us? And he would say, well, I did this. And it was all these inclusive things that added everybody in. But when you started to watch what he's done for all these other communities, they were specific and they were direct. I want to break down some of the things that he has done, because y'all know we got receipts on the Black Alpha Network, big ones. I'm going to show everybody some of these things that he's done for different communities. Right now, we can start off with the illegal immigrants, okay? We can start off with them. Everybody knows that all these other communities, they consider him one of their own. Foundational Black Americans, we don't. So when you start looking at our lineage, our heritage, and our culture, what you tend to see is a community that has actually been, you know, against all the things that have been saying because he ain't done nothing for us. But when you start looking at other communities, you see they love him because he did things for him. Look at this date right here. This is June 15th, 2012. If I'm not mistaken, that is his second term, the same second term that we were all told we need to wait for, that he would do something for us. But look who he was doing something for. And when you look at it, it wasn't foundational Black Americans, and it wasn't even Americans at all. Listen to this.
The president took matters into his own hands today, moving to allow non-citizen students and graduates under 30 to avoid deportation. It's a version of the DREAM Act, which stalled in Congress last year, but has become, for now, the leading immigration issue.
The bill hasn't really changed. The need hasn't changed. It's still the right thing to do. The only thing that has changed, apparently, was the politics. It makes no sense to expel talented young people who, for all intents and purposes, are Americans,
So how far did the president's actions go today, and how far didn't they, Pierre?
Well, Gordon, we're talking about roughly 800,000 people age 16 to 30. And what this allows them to do is apply for work permits and stay here 2 years. And if they don't get into any kind of trouble, they can be recertified. And again, they're looking at students, people who have served in the military, again, people who have been brought here by their parents. And I think what was very interesting about this is even though they talk about children, as you can see by the age 16 to 30, we're talking about a lot of young adults who will be allowed to stay in the country.
Now, when they're also not talking about.
Now, family, I could have sworn they told us that you can't do something for people specifically. That's what they always say when it comes to Foundation of Black Americans. We can't write any specific laws for y'all, even though y'all created the country, even though y'all built the country, even though we are the mainstay of America. But it looks like that was something very specific. And it doesn't even look like it was done specifically for someone who is an actual citizen. This is the history of Obama right here. This is the Obama that Tyler Perry was trying to tell us is from our lineage. How do y'all feel right here when we pull out the receipts on his real legacy? Either one of y'all can take that.
Let me say this. And I was talking about DACA not too long ago. The thing that they like to bring up, oh, well, you have so many people who are over here and they served in the military. The narrative that there's a large amount of DACA recipients who have served in the military is not correct. There's not a lot at all. It's a very, very small number of DACA recipients who've served in any form in the military whatsoever. So they're making it seem like these are soldiers. These are not soldiers. And a lot of them, if we're going to be honest, a lot of them are not even students. If we're going to be completely honest, a lot of them are coming over here and they're just trying to work and stay in the country. They try to bring up the student thing so you can kind of feel sorry for them. They try to bring up the soldier thing so you can kind of feel sorry for them, but they're not soldiers, a lot of them, and they're not students. They wouldn't, first off, they wouldn't be able to be soldiers if they weren't 18 years old. Legally in America, you can't have somebody be a soldier if they're below the age of 18. Now they can, I guess, enlist in the military, I guess, with their parents' consent, but that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. So most of them are not soldiers. Most of them are not in the military. All right. So the whole that lie to try to get them to get in, to try to give them some form of legitimacy to be in this country is made up.
What about you, Tori?
When I
get him, brother.
When I had first learned that they were getting ready to do this, I said, yep, this is the beginning of some dark days to come. And look at where we are now. It seems like whenever you start at one point, it starts off, of course, it's always going to start off like it's almost like that beta run before it gets into that main segue where it is. And look at where it's at now, and it has literally spiraled into what it is now. And notice that, like I said, that was just the beginning. They ended up trying to give them all kinds of set asides that literally was like, literally, here, take this over time. Like, and even before he started to get out of office, it started to ramp up even more. Like, they was getting everything like hand over fist, like to the point where a lot of them were like trying to get over here just so they could be a part of that program. It basically became, it almost, I guess you could say it became almost like a welfare program that was specific for them. But again, going back to what you said, nothing for us. Last time I checked, the majority of the people that voted for him didn't look like the ones who was part of DACA. Last time I checked. Like when I look at those exit polls, it was mainly black people that voted for him. But black people, again, got the backhand and the front hand and the bottom of the boot.
That's funny, brother. That's always a common theme right there when you start talking about the Democratic Party. It's always the same thing. And that's all that man was elected for. That man was elected so he can rock folks to sleep and he can continue to run that type of gambit. This right here is the same exact thing right here with him further trying to push these bullshit laws above us and elevate other groups ahead of us. But no one ever wants to mention it except for us.
President Obama is in Nevada today after making his new immigration policy official. He signed 2 executive orders as he flew west on Friday. Juliana Goldman is in our Washington bureau with the latest on the new policy and the political fallout.
Wait a minute. Did I just hear Did I just hear executive order? Did she just not say executive order? Now, don't they tell us all the time? Roland Martin be the main one saying, black folks, we got to jump over a goddamn bridge. We got to walk through a burning house. We got to get a million signatures. We got to do all of these things with these hurdles and these blockades just for them to even look at any type of tangible for us. But you see right then and there, that man signed 2 executive orders, the same thing that Joe Biden did on his very first day. He signed executive orders. Biden signed them on his first day. Obama played us the whole first term, and then the second term, he starts signing them away.
Latest on the new policy and the political fallout from it. Good morning, Juliana.
Good morning. Well, Republicans have reacted furiously. They say the president overstepped his authority. And yesterday, as you mentioned, the president was in Nevada. It's the state with the highest proportion of illegal immigrants in the U.S. President Obama said his immigration measures are a temporary solution and can be voided if Congress passes a comprehensive bill.
I have a simple answer. Pass a bill.
Selling the new immigration rules in Las Vegas.
Temporary. That was what I heard was temporary. I kind of whispered it too, but temporary. And yeah, and look at where we are, and look at where we at now.
Same situation, brother. I've never seen him ever go anywhere and stump on the campaign trail for foundational Black Americans. I've never seen.
And he's talking to them, not at them. You know, like how when it comes to us, they talk at us like we are some kind of defective. But when they talk to them, they talk to them like they're human beings. I'm telling you, that 3/5 compromise is still in effect.
That's very true. That's very true. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about Obama and we talk about what Obama did not do for foundational Black Americans. Just the fact that he's talking about he wants them to pass the bill. He wants the House to pass the bill. Whether they pass the bill, which eventually everything he wanted for them got done, but whether they pass the bill or not, he's openly advocating for whatever bill he wants. He's openly advocating for Congress to do something. Now, whether they do it or don't do it, that's another story. But the principle of the matter is the fact that he's openly saying, this is what I want, and I'm making the demand to Congress to get it done. None of that was done on behalf of Black people. It would be one thing if he tried to say something about reparations and he tried to convince Congress to go along with it and Congress shut it down, but Obama was advocating for it. Just that advocacy alone, regardless of the legislation, just that advocacy alone means something. He's showing you where he stands. He's showing you what he believes. He's showing you what he wants to be done. None of that, not even the advocacy, not talking about the legislation, not even the advocacy was done on behalf of foundational Black Americans, on behalf of us getting reparations, especially, but any form of tangibles or anything specifically legislatively for us at all. Nothing. He didn't even advocate for it.
That man didn't even get to step one. Hey, I'm glad y'all brought that up too, Torian. How when he talks, he doesn't really, like when he speaks for them, he speaks on behalf of them. When he starts talking about us, he starts talking to us. Y'all remember Cousin Pookie? For the folks out there who don't remember Cousin Pookie.
This was the one right here that really turned me off. Like this comment right here really turned me off right here.
Y'all listen how Obama feels about, now would anybody who is of the lineage, of the heritage, of the culture, talk like this about the lineage, the heritage, or the culture? Y'all tell me. This is him talking about a Cousin Pookie, which basically sounds like it's coming from the dominant society, which is where he came from.
I need you to make phone calls. I need you to knock on doors. I need you to call up Cousin Pookie and say, Pookie, it's time to vote. And say, Pookie, it's time to vote.
Pookie, it's time to vote. And they just back to eating it up.
Then he laughed. Yeah, you ain't lying, brother, because he starts laughing and they start laughing right along with it. They think it's funny.
I'm like, do you not realize you're being insulted?
Right.
I need you to go.
He's talking about you. Barack Obama didn't grow up around Pookie.
Jesse, say Jesse.
If he had a nickname growing up, I doubt it was a Pookie-esque name.
That man said, "Call up Pookie." God damn.
Now, for people who think that we're reaching, that's not a reach at all. Every ethnicity has their stereotypical names in it, okay? And when somebody from outside of that ethnicity, especially a politician, refers to a group of people by their stereotypical name, it's meant to be offensive, which is why they don't do that with other groups of people. You know, when Obama talks about the immigrants, DACA, Hispanics, he doesn't say, hey, y'all need to call your cousin Jose, call your auntie Maria, he's not going to use like little stereotypical names when he's talking to other groups of people. If he was talking to Asian people, he wouldn't say, hey, call your cousin Chang Lee, call your cousin Chuck Dong. He wouldn't say that. But when he's talking to foundational Black Americans and politicians, the Democrats do this often, very, very often. Oh, tell him to put down the fried chicken and pick up a voting ballot. And the little insult, and then he's gonna laugh at it because he knows this is like a low-key insult that too many shills are blinded and won't catch. Like, you're not going to hear the dog whistle in the insult. You're not going to hear the inside joke that he's telling to people.
Kamala did the same thing when she had said she had went to South Carolina and she had stopped off and got this big bag of collard greens. You know that woman don't eat no collard greens, let alone even knows how to cook or season or clean them. But she went and got 2 big grocery bags full of collard greens. I'll never forget when she said that.
And said she carried them personally through the airport in each hand. She know damn well she lying. Damn well. Matter of fact, it's funny, brother, because this is what happens when you got people who are cosplaying our culture. You can't hide being FBA. You can try. You can yo. You can what's up, dog. You can do that all day long. You can talk about collard greens, or you could talk about hot sauce. So whatever you choose to do, FBA gonna see your ass from a mile away. And every time they do that, it just doesn't work. Gone are the days of that stuff working. Gone are the days of them trying to get that off on us. Now, we talk about cousin Pookie. I'm gonna tell you right now, he took it to a whole nother level. I'm glad we got 300-something people in here right now. If y'all remember this right here, and y'all got to see this right here. This right here, again, is Barack Obama talking to foundational Black Americans in a very derogatory way. But this isn't folks to go vote. These are young Black folks who are graduating. This is where he tells them, basically, who cares about racism, get over racism, and deal with it. This right here is the guy that they're trying to say is FBA, a descendant of us. Hail to the no.
Just as Morehouse has taught you to expect more of yourselves, inspire those who look up to you to expect more of themselves. We know that too many young men in our community continue to make bad choices.
Wait a minute.
He started off like right there.
Right there. First, ain't no our community, homeboy, first off. And second, did y'all notice how when as soon as he came out, he said our community, which is bullshit. But then he automatically got into a lot of our men, which is a stereotype, make bad choices. As Afro was just saying, would he ever go in front of the Hispanic community and say that? Because, you know, there's some, matter of fact, he just signed a law and we just played the clip that they can come on in. Did he say a lot of y'all make bad decisions and flee home?
Yet, how many stories have we talked about or heard about where a lot of them have been violating some women, even some young children, because they're bringing their bad habits from over there and they're bringing them here. I remember when, I think it was last year when they started to come over here. And I don't know if it was them or if it maybe was some other ones. Came over here, you know, they housed them inside of the base. Literally, not even there a whole week. And already it was reports coming from some of these bases that they were in there assaulting in a form some of the female personnel. I'm like, y'all haven't even been here like 2 days. And already you on the news for doing what you do over in your homeland over here. And that's who they want to implement into government. That's who they want to implement into these police officer positions. and all these blue collar, white collar jobs. That's where you're inserting them into. You're literally bringing criminals over here, and they're not even being vetted. Like, you're just letting them come on over.
That's funny.
Yep.
There go that.
And not only that, but Squad, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but also this. Not only are they bringing that over, but let's talk about the elephant in the room that a lot of people don't talk about that they're bringing over, and that is disease.
Woo.
It's true.
Some of them probably are bringing disease over. Like, you know, that they probably don't get shots before they come over here to make sure that they're good. So, like, you could just be bringing someone over here with a disease from their nation that's foreign to here, and now you're gonna have another outbreak on your hands.
He would never say nothing about that. Especially, he's talking to graduates. That man is at Morehouse. He's acting like he's talking to, challenged youth. He shouldn't be saying this anyway because he's not of the culture. But he's talking to our youth who are actually graduating. These are successful brothers and sisters. Finger wagging. As soon as he got started, he started off with the finger wagging, and it goes even further. Go ahead.
And before you go, let's be honest. He says a lot. It's not a lot. That's a lie.
Thank you.
The whole thing of, oh yeah, it's a lot of black men who make bad decisions. Where? Let's be honest, because you want to talk about the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Those are not the majority. Those don't make up the majority of black society. Those make up a very small fraction of black society. Most black people are law-abiding people who work hard, who go to school, who go to work, who take care of their families, take care of their lives. That's what majority of black society is about, has always been about. It's the small little fraction that everybody has, is in every single society, but it's a small little fraction of Pookies and Ray Rays that they want to be like, oh, look at all of these black men. They always blow that number up. All of these black men, they make so many bad decisions, almost implying that only it's a small amount of black men who make good decisions. That's kind of what he's implying when he says that.
And apparently he fits into that frame.
Oh, right. So he gave the notion of all y'all blacks is bads who makes bad decisions, and I'm the good ones. And if you were more like me, then you could be the president and serve supremacy one goddamn day. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to wave my off-coded non-FBA finger at you. This is the shit that we talk about, and that's why the cosplaying ain't working no more. This is not the Yes We Can era, family. It never was. This the hell to the nah. This you better respect it because we know you can't check it era.
And I have to say, growing up, I made quite a few myself. Sometimes I wrote off my own failings as just another example of the world trying to keep a black man down.
Whoa, no, God damn it, shit, damn it, nope, hold on. Notice how he said, boy, he think he's slick too, boy, we on you, homie. Notice how he said, I made some mistakes myself. I once blamed it on racism, basically insinuating that the mistakes that he made weren't like your mistakes. Your mistakes are you just bad and you a black man who needs to do better. My mistakes were I blame my failures on supremacy. So basically saying you're making it up, it's all in your head, and supremacy does not exist. That sounds like it's coming directly from a Republican or Democrat national convention full of a bunch of people from the dominant society. Nobody can sit there and say that they are a foundational black American and talk like that and say those type of things and then deflect the race aspect and put it on everybody else, but yet at the same time hold himself up in high regard. That right there proves to you the type of finger wagging that he was on.
They might as well have just got Tucker Carlson speak.
Brother, you ain't lying. What's the after you say think you're lying?
I think he's lying. I don't think there was a single situation where he's
because I was going to ask
trying to keep a black man. I don't think he's ever been on that type of page.
I was getting ready to ask, can you give an example? Because like when he did that pause, I was like, are you going to give an example of that happening? But we didn't get it.
Remember, he was buried. To your point, brother, he wasn't even Barack Obama. He was Barry. What is somebody whose name is Barack and he prefers to go by Barry? That sounds like somebody who's trying to slide into the dominant society. Somebody's trying to act like he's one of them. That's no different than the folks where their name is Jorge and they say their name is George. That's somebody who's trying to dominate society up their name and trying to make it look like, oh, I'm not a blacks person. I'm ones of y'all's. That right there is him. So I'm with you, brother. I think that's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I don't think he ever even had a clue what supremacy was. And if he did, he wanted to be on the side of it and not the side against it.
I had a tendency sometimes to make excuses.
And they out there in the rain, having to listen to this nonsense. They in the rain having to listen to this.
Hey, you know what? I don't know what year this is, brother, but I'm gonna take that back a second. This brother right here look like he's thinking bullshit.
Yeah. I'm trying to read what his lips to see what he said.
he lightweight smirking. Hey, that's an on-code brother from, I guess that's during the Yes We Can era. That's an on-code brother from back then.
Yeah, because I can't. Yeah, because I think he had to still. He was probably still. If you scroll down, like, did you have a date, like a year of when this was posted?
Let me see. This is 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So this is 2000 what? Maybe 2013.
13.
So he's on his. So he was. Was he on his way out, or he was? No, he was still in. No, he was still in. He was. He was still. Yeah, he was. This is the beginning of his second term. So yeah.
Now, mind you, the second term was the term where they told us he's gonna do something for us. For family that don't remember, when Barack Obama got elected, they told black people, don't worry about his first term, wait till his second term. He even came out and said it. He said, now I'm fearless, I can do something for y'all, but you got to vote for me again. Now, mind you, when he first got elected, the Democrats controlled all branches of the government. So as they had all branches of the government and he did nothing for black folks, they gave us the IOU of wait until the next term. And then black folks voted for him in the next election. And then they gave them this right here. And you could tell that brother pissed. That brother pissed.
They could at least give him some umbrellas.
Yeah, or a tent or something like that. Like, what are they standing out in the rain, getting all wet?
You sitting there in the rain, getting ridiculed on your graduation day. Man, that motherfucker ain't no FBA. Hold up.
Sometimes to make excuses for me not doing the right thing.
Well, that brother pissed off too.
But one of the things that all of you have learned over the last 4 years is there's no longer any room for excuses.
Wow. Oh, they
That's a very weak clap.
Too. Oh, you caught that? Yeah.
It was a very weak clap, and most of it came from the administrators on the stage.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
look. If you look, there's white administrators. It was the white people like, yeah, that's right, man. You tell them niggers that.
Now you want to know what's so interesting is that this was Morehouse's graduation. If this is 10 years ago, so I'm assuming it was class of 2013. If you fast forward 6 years to the Morehouse graduation of 2019, they had a more formidable speaker who was foundational Black American, by the way, by the name of Robert F. Smith. Robert F. Smith is the wealthiest Black man in America. One can argue that he's the wealthiest Black person in America. He has more wealth than even Oprah, the Mammy Supreme wig free. But he spoke at their graduation. And then at the end of his speech, he did something that I don't think I've seen any Black person do who has amassed a good amount of wealth. And that's when he announced to the graduating class of 2019 and to their parents that he was going to pay off all of their student loans. That way they can go and get a head start into the world. Now, if you play that clip when he says that, the response from that, you would thought that a famous celebrity just walked out onto the stage and was about to perform for them right quick. Like, they jumped out of their chairs. Some probably stood in their chairs and was clapping hard as hell. Some of them probably cried, tears of joy, with them student loans. But then when he hit them with the saying, going to their parents and said he was going to do something for them as well, they cheered and got loud as well. And a lot of people, if they didn't know who Robert F. Smith was at the time, they definitely found out who he was after that.
That's funny. He said, I'm going to pay off y'all student debt. And Barack Obama couldn't even write one law for them folks. And then told him, quit complaining. That man said, quit complaining. I'm sorry. I haven't heard that type of language come from somebody who is a foundational Black American the way that he perceives to be, especially not a certified.
That weak clap.
I understand there's a common fraternity creed here at Morehouse. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build bridges to nowhere and monuments of nothingness.
I know exactly where he got that from.
We've got no time for excuses.
As a person who went to an HBCU, I know where he got that from. That's a common slogan that a lot of like the Divine Nine would use. That's where he got that. I think that's a common slogan that the Divine Nine, whether it's the fraternities or the sororities, commonly use. So that's why I was able to finish off that, because I heard that a lot as an undergrad, even though I didn't pledge anything, but I knew a lot of people who did, and I constantly always heard that slogan. I always heard that phrase. So that's why I was able to know that the last two words was of nothingness.
That man went into the Obama.
I'm gonna be honest. It's a true slogan, but I would not prefer not to have heard it from him.
Right? Yeah. That's what he be doing. He think he's slick too. He'll take something and he'll try to apply. You know, it always comes to us too. Now, once again, he didn't do this for them other folks that he was writing them damn laws for. Watch this, family. This right here, he go way off the deep end. If this before was bad, watch this right here.
Not because the bitter legacy of slavery and segregation have vanished entirely, they have not. Not because racism and discrimination no longer exist. We know those are still out there. It's just that in today's hyper-connected, hyper-competitive world, with millions of young people from China and India and Brazil, many of whom started with a whole lot less than all of you did.
Whoa. Like, what is that for you to say to them? Like, what in the world is going on here? On their and they sitting in the rain. Like, huh? Like, they probably felt crushed listening to this, because you gotta think, this is a class of 2013, so a lot of them probably voted for this man in his second term. Maybe not the first term, but definitely the second term. And they were like, is this the guy we voted for? Like, we were so glad that he came here to want to do our commencement speech. This is going to look good for the school. I can tell this to my friends and family that, hey, he was our commencement speaker. But then it's like, do you want to tell them that? Because then you have to know that he said this. And that goes back to what I was saying before. He talks at Black people and not to Black people. The tone is very different if he was, say, to go to a PWI, if they even invited him, because at that time they didn't like his Black ass.
That's true.
They had a lot of contempt for him at that time, to the point where I doubt that them graduating students probably would have got up and walked out.
And let me say this. Does this sound like he's congratulating anybody?
Ooh.
When you're giving a commencement speech, you're supposed to be there talking, even if you're talking about, because I remember Chadwick Boseman, he made one. And you talk about overcoming and uplifting and empowering and doing better and seeking better. You talk about that, you can say that, and that touches somebody. Even if you want to talk about overcoming certain obstacles, you say that and you make it relate to the people who overcame that obstacle. You don't say, oh, we're in a hyper competitive world and they start off with less than you, implying that you guys had something better and they're better than you. Saying that somebody started off with something less than you and they're at where they are implies that they're better than you. Does this sound like he's congratulating them at all? Or does this sound like he's an angry coach and he's two touchdowns away from losing the championship game? And he's trying to slap everybody up and say and shake everybody and be like, oh, stop the excuses, get on that field and make it happen. This doesn't sound like he's even proud of what the students have done.
Yo, look at the irony in that too, brother. The guy who sits there and makes laws that benefit all of those groups he just mentioned is who he uses to tell Black folks, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That's what that was. That was a pull yourself up by the bootstraps, because all of these other people, he just named 6 or 7 different people, and every last one of them benefit off of his immigration laws. And then he tells us that they had it worse than you. Well, first off, we built this country and nobody's had it worse than us in this country. So he could take that shit back to Hawaii or wherever the hell he's from. Okay. Second off, he just sat there and named all of these people that he's written laws for. He wrote laws for them, but you haven't written laws for us. So when he says this person's coming here, this person's coming here, and that person's coming here, yeah, because you're the one bringing them in. And so is the whole Democratic Party. That's what y'all do. So how can you use the people who benefit off of your immigration laws and then use it against us? And then speaking of immigration laws, Would Barack Obama even be here if it wasn't for foundational Black Americans fighting for the rights to have people come into this country and to make this a non-all-white country? Because his father is a non-FBA, and his father came here based upon foundational Black Americans putting in that work in the 60s and 70s and opening the doors for all of them. So what he should really honestly 100% be doing, he should be sitting there thanking people for opening the doors for his family to be able to benefit off of what our family has created. This right here, family, this is not somebody who is of the lineage. That right there is Barack Obama and his father. As we proceed. So we're going to see, family, right here, that this guy who claims that he's FBA, who's really been cosplaying FBA, because if you don't say nothing, he won't say nothing. This right here is Barack Obama. And you can see, you see that, boy, that forehead that's that Friedman forehead right there, y'all. That's the Friedman forehead. And you see that it's been passed down to Barack Obama. So should he really be ridiculing us about people coming into this country where your father benefited from us allowing him to come into this country? That right there is the type of shit that Barack Obama be on, and we don't really roll for that at all. And if I'm not mistaken, where's his father from? Is it Kenya?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe he is.
He's Kenyan, right? Okay. So your father's from Kenya. All right. So foundational Black Americans, last time I checked, Kenya is not in America. Okay. I've never seen that. And isn't Obama, he was raised in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken. I know, matter of fact, Afro, he claims your hood. But he didn't move to Chicago until he was older, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. He was like, I think he didn't move to Chicago until he was like a young adult.
So this guy's a non-FBA who claims our lineage.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
A non-FBA. So there's nothing Chicago about this guy at all. Brother, you in Chicago. Does anybody in Chicago run around and claim, dude, any real ones? The folks in the streets, the folks in the grassroots. Does anybody claim him and say that Chicago man?
No. Hell no. No, not now, especially not now. Before, Chicago loved him. Oh my God, he's representing Chicago. He's especially because when he first got elected, people all like, oh, that's Chicago's the first place he's gonna take care of. Oh, he's definitely gonna take care of Chicago. That's the first place he's gonna take care of, and didn't do nothing. So it felt like, okay, you use, hey, I'm Black, I'm from Chicago because Chicago is kind of synonymous with like the hood, the ghetto. So when you say I'm Black, I'm from Chicago and everything, because nobody thinks that there's nice places in Chicago. So when you say I'm Black, I'm from Chicago, then it's a wink, wink. I'm from the hood. So that's a wink, wink. I know what it's like. So that's a wink, wink. I got you guys when I get in there. All of that is implied by him saying that, which is why he focused so much on where he was from, or focus so much on Chicago in his initial campaigns, because he knows all of him saying he's from Chicago implies all of that.
So this man was out here cosplaying Chicago too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell off rip that, I mean, he was really, to be honest with you, he wasn't really ever around Black people until he was, college student? He's from Hawaii. How many Black folks are in Hawaii today in the year 2023? So, I mean, how many, I can't even imagine how many Black folks was in Hawaii in the 70s or the 60s. Like, he was never really around the lineage at all to claim the lineage. And I believe that he was doing the same thing Kamala does. They kind of insinuate or persuade you to believe that they're of the lineage, but they're not. They don't like the fact that we check people's paperwork with the lineage, because now that we do that, that's something that you never really expected. They thought flat blackness. They love flat blackness. Flat blackness is why they are where they are. But the very fact now that we've actually been G-checking that and saying, well, yeah, you can be Black, but you ain't FBA. Obama didn't like that. And in fact, that Tyler Perry had to delete his tweet, that kind of lets you know that the people are on all day. Let me say this about Obama. When I got to ask y'all this question, because I've been wanting to ask y'all this all day long. When it comes to where he is at today, opposed to where he was at, let's just say we saw that 10 years ago. Did y'all think that it would get to this point where his name is that dirty in the street, where it holds no weight, to where he can't really sway in the elections? Going back 10 years ago when it was a yes, we can era and vote for me and vote for me. Did y'all think it would get to the point where it is now?
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think it was gonna get to that point because at the time when you're in the moment, it's like it's almost like he was a rock star. He was pretty much everywhere. Like everyone wanted to be. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. When he won his first term, he had everybody, and I do mean almost everybody, come out and support for him. Or when he won, like how big that was, how many people were locked in, or even when he had like all those inaugural balls, like him and Michelle were going to all those inaugural balls around DC. Them, like, I don't think I've ever seen any president do it like that at that time. Then he had different people go there and perform, like concerts and all types of stuff like that. So like I said, it was like he was a legit celebrity at one point in time. And then it kind of died down in the second term because the honeymoon phase was pretty much over. Everybody had got accustomed to it. But now it's it's to the point where no one, like you said, no one cares anymore. It really, like, because people have become, again, like I said earlier, more politically savvy and understand where this dude is actually coming from. And people are now looking back on it, it's like, you know what? If I had knew then what I know now, I would not have voted for you. But like I
How do
said,
you feel about that?
like I said, like at the time, like for me, for instance, I was young. That was my first time voting too. So that was like something that, it was a milestone, I guess you could say, for me. So like, of course, I didn't think of it back then. Of course, my mindset back then was way different than it is now. Like what I was talking about, like what I'm talking about now is completely different than where my mindset was at when I was 19. So, yeah, I would definitely say that he does not have the big name that he once had. And I think I see that as definitely as a good thing, considering now as people's mindset has evolved since then, except for like maybe the older crowd or whatnot. But there's still a lot of some people out there that are still fans of him. But a lot of people have completely okay, you had your time. It is what it is. We know better now, and we really want nothing to do with you at this point. So just move right on along.
I was going to ask you about that, brother, because I was going to say you was there in DC. I can only imagine what that was like, brother. Man,
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Because I remember just watching basically the dude. Y'all remember that song? What was that song Jeezy made? My President is Black.
My President is Black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, when he won, I was actually in South Carolina because, like I said, I was in college on election night, and I remember what that atmosphere was like. Like literally, like I remember like almost vividly. I was in my room. A lot of people were down. Like I was in my dorm room. A lot of people were downstairs, like in the lobby, and they was watching the results and everything like that. Then I got a call from my mother, and she just said and I just said hello, and all I could hear on the other end was just screaming. And I'm like, what? Like what's going on? At first, I'm like, what? Like why was she screaming? And then I looked at the TV, and because I wasn't paying attention, and just said that he had won. I had went downstairs, and like when I was on the elevator, I literally heard a whole bunch of people just yelling and running up and down the hallway going crazy. And then that's when it like what happened. And then we left from the dorm room and we had went to the front of the school, in front of the library. It was like I think the whole school was out there in front of the library celebrating. If I had my original channel, the one that had got deleted, you would actually have seen that video because I actually had that on my original. That was like one of the first YouTube videos I ever uploaded back in 2008 when that happened. You could look at it until that was bad camera quality because we wasn't dealing with HD back then. Back then 240p was considered HD. But yeah, like that's just how it was. But again, like I said, if I had knew then what I know now, I would not have been enthused. And I think a lot of us at that time wouldn't have been either.
Afro, brother, I got to play this, Afro. You got to check that. I got to get your comment on this, brother. This right here is Obama praising. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say it, brother. It speaks for itself. Tell me how you feel about this, family, because this right here is something that a lot of Black folks are strong about, and Obama's always been on the opposite side of what the consensus is in our community. Check this out. Right there. Here we go.
Good evening, everyone. As a husband and as a father of two daughters, I just want to say thank you for everything you do on behalf of America's women. Throughout Planned Parenthood's history, you've helped women and their families make their own choices about health and family planning. Last year alone, you provided 1.5 million cancer screenings and helped 2.2 million people access birth control. For you, and for most Americans, protecting women's health is a mission that stands above politics. And yet over the past year, you've had to stand up to politicians who want to deny millions of women the care they rely on and inject themselves into decisions that are best made between a woman and her doctor. Let's be clear here. Women are not an interest group. They're mothers and daughters and sisters and wives. They're half of this country, and they're perfectly capable of making their own choices about their health. So we're grateful that through it all, you never forgot who you're fighting for. The woman with a new lease on life because a mammogram caught her cancer in time. The woman who can sleep easier at night because of a cervical cancer screening. The woman who is able to choose when to start a family because she could afford contraception. So when some...
Brother, I can tell. I can tell looking at you, brother. That is him thanking Planned Parenthood. And I know that you know the history of Planned Parenthood as well as everybody in here. That man was he was caping for him. Go ahead, brother.
First off, man. I think it's crazy that he's tying Planned Parenthood with cancer research. Those are completely two different things, completely two different departments. There's no Republican there's no politician, period, who's trying to prevent any sort of cancer research or cancer treatment or any. Those are completely different things. So he's like, yeah, a woman going in to get cancer research. Yeah, nobody's stopping that. He's trying to tie that in with abortion. That has absolutely nothing to do with each other whatsoever. And he's really going out of his way to thank Planned Parenthood, which was set up. If you guys understand the history of Planned Parenthood abortion, that was set up to target Black people. It was set up as a device that would genocide the Black community. All right. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talks about this. That's what it was really set up for. All right. So he's thinking that, oh, well, women get to choose. And I love the cute little ways that they talk about abortion. It's so, just say abortion. Just say abort. I love it because they don't want to talk about, they don't want to say the word abortion, but they want to imply things like, choose to start their own family. A woman listen, nobody is trying to stop women from going to get Tylenol. Nobody is stopping women from going to get Band-Aids. Nobody is stopping women. They were like, yeah, a woman should be able to make her own decisions for her medical care. Yes, she can buy eye drops. She can buy Tylenol. She can buy all of these other things. You're watering the situation down. Just say abort. They're not saying abortion because they want to make it seem like these Republicans just want to lock women in a box. Nobody's trying to say anything about that. Everything else is up for grabs. Is that one single thing? He's tying, and you see how deceptive he's being, which is why it made me laugh. He's tying abortion with cancer. He said, so it pretty much implies to stop a woman from getting an abortion is the same of stopping a woman from getting cancer treatment. That's essentially what he's implying when he ties those two things up in the same conversation. It's comical at this point. It's very comical at this point.
That man was trying. Hey, what'd you say, bro? He's trying to tie that in. You go get some Tylenol right now for $2.99 at your local drugstore. But thank Planned Parenthood. Let's just forget everything they say. Hey, Torian. Now, since we're going full speed, brother, I want to tap into this. Tell me how you feel about this one right here. Afro just broke down, all the lies that he was saying when it came to Planned Parenthood. Do y'all remember Flint, Michigan? For all those who forgot, y'all know. Do you remember?
Hold on. No, look at the date.
Go ahead, bro.
Look at the date. That was my 27th birthday.
Damn. So the infamous drink went down on your 27th birthday.
Yep, May 4th, 2016.
And I made a mistake. I said the drink. Let's get this straight. It was the non-drink. So not only does this man cosplay being a foundational Black American, he cosplays actually drinking water. Y'all tell me in the chat, everybody right now, tell me, this man did he really take a drink, a sip, or anything right here? Or is he just telling folks, Anybody who is not familiar with Flint, Michigan, I'm sure you are. Flint, Michigan has polluted water. Obama knew that, so they flew him out there so he can run this game. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if Flint, Michigan, is it majority black? I'm not sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Majority black. So that fits right in, right? So send out the blacks the presidents now, so he can drink all the waters and tell y'all to go vote, and then tell y'all to go drink, and then tell y'all to go tap dance. Y'all watch this right now, and Torian, I'll let you rock since this was on your birthday.
It is. There you go. You know, generally I have not been doing.
First off, that water
here,
gonna
but,
look dirty.
And this used a filter. You know, the water around this table, was Flint water that was filtered, and it just confirms what we know scientifically, which is that if you're using a filter, if you're installing it, then Flint water at this point is drinkable. That does not, I want to repeat, negate the need for us to go ahead and replace some of these pipes, because ultimately you want a system in which you don't have to put a filter on it in order to be assured that it's safe.
Brother, it's all on you, family.
What they should have did,
did he drink,
really
brother?
wanted,
Did he just?
if they really wanted to impress us, was they should have put a piece of tape on that glass that said, drink till the water gets to this tape right here, and put it halfway down. That way we can know you actually drank it. Because I don't know what that was. And that didn't even look like the water. It looked like water that got poured out of a bottle into a glass. That water was very clear. Even if it was filterized, like he claimed, even filterized water can still have some particles in it depending on how dirty it is. And we've seen what that water looks like. Even with a filter, it still would have had a little bit of a tint to it. It would have been so clear. That water came straight out of a Dasani water bottle. Who was he fooling? That and that Flint situation, which they're still going through right now, it was so messed up. But I do commend and send kudos to all, the Black Foundation of Black Americans who rallied together to send a bunch of water as much as they could to the people in Flint. So not only they could have drinking water, but also so they could clean themselves, so they can bathe, clean any like their clothes or anything like that. Because I remember seeing people, they had like U-Haul trucks full of water. I know them water companies made bank that year. But yeah, who was he fooling? Not me.
He was trying to, it's funny too, brother, because just like when he was talking about Planned Parenthood, he was slick with his words. So he'll try to spin it around. So he kept saying, well, I'm not saying we don't need to fix the pipes and everything, but go drink the water now. So basically, if the pipes aren't fixed, then why should we be drinking it right now? And, there's a whole documentary, if I'm not mistaken, of brothers and sisters from Flint, Michigan, and they were literally going in on that whole fiasco. And they were saying exactly everything that we know and everything that, did not come true. Speaking of things that did not come true, is Barack Obama is going to do something for foundational Black Americans in terms of us being harmed by race soldiers. But in the midst of all of the people that were on his watch, going back, you can go to Trayvon Martin. I know Sean Bell happened right before he got elected. All the names, all the faces that were, harmed during this man's presidency. You would have thought that he would have made some type of anti-Black hate crime law, something for foundational Black Americans. But he did make an anti-hate law, but it wasn't for Black people. It was for blue people. And this right here is this man signing the Protect Blue or Blue Law, the Blue Alert Law. And this
I remember that.
In the middle of everything that happened to our people, this man goes out there and he writes a law to protect the people that were doing it to us. I'm gonna play
and
this.
Notice who is not around,
brother.
I was just like looking at this imagery right here, and I said, "Look at who is not there."
You don't see they ain't even trying. They ain't even like.
You didn't have not one Black person in that picture, or when in present when he signed this bill.
Another thing. Not only notice who was not there, no Black person, not a single Black person. Look at Joe Biden's face.
Oh man!
look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden could not be happier right now. He's like, this is my type of executive order. I love this.
He's
Joe
showing
Biden is the happiest person in the room.
He's showing all them veneers.
Woo, he got his hand on him. Well,
Joe Biden
I don't know
look
what
like
the
this
other
is
hand is doing.
Christmas. That look how happy, man. Joe Biden.
And do you know what? And
is
you know what's so
happiest
crazy?
person
You know what knows so crazy about this? I don't know if y'all remember when this bill was signed, but I definitely remember when it was signed because it was something that happened right before he signed this. If y'all remember, it was back. I forgot what year it was, but it was in Louisiana where you had this white father going on a high-speed chase. They send the units in to go after this guy, and the unit that they sent was 2 black cops. They chase after him and whatnot. They finally track him down and they get him to stop and pull over to the side of the road. They get out there doing their procedures, telling him to get out of the car and put his hands up and all of the different stuff like that. This guy decides not to comply. And he decides that he's going to use his vehicle as a weapon because one of the cops was standing behind his car. The other one was standing to the driver's side. He tries to use his vehicle as a weapon and puts the car into reverse as to hit the cop that was behind him. And the cop fires a couple of shots through the windshield and then the guy drives off. And what ends up happening is the cop mistakenly and accidentally shoots the guy's son, who they did not know was in the car. He was in the front seat, and he shot this kid, and I think the bullets went to the back of his head, and he died instantly. And those 2 cops ended up doing jail time behind that, and that's why we always say, you can be black in that uniform. You can wear that blue uniform all day, but that blue does not protect you. They still see black at the end of the day. There's been so many stories that have come out in New York, especially about the quota system and all types of stuff like that. It's really, really corrupt. But I remember that happened. They didn't even get the father that was involved with that until like a year later, but on a domestic dispute that he was abusing his girlfriend at the time. But I remember that because then, like the week after, or maybe even a couple days after that happened, this bill gets signed.
Damn.
So they weren't even protected underneath it because it happened before he signed it. And I said, that sounds like a coincidence to me. I mean, like that doesn't sound like, that sounds like, something felt kind of off about that.
Yo, man, they don't make no sense, brother. No sense. They have it's literally just, serve the dominant society, serve to trick black folks, throw us in that goddamn gambit all over. You know what, brother? And I remember that story. And you saying this was a few days after that happened.
Yeah, he signed the bill a few days after it happened. Yep, I remember. That's how I can always link the two together because they were so close together. And I think it was in June. It was in the month of June, but I can't remember what year. I want to say maybe 2014, because I think this happened. No, maybe it was after. I can't remember if it was before or after he signed the bill to make same-sex marriage legal. I can't remember which one came first, or if they both came in the same year.
Think about that, brother. Look at all the laws we've broken down. First off, we have a thank you letter to Planned Parenthood. We have him signing DACA, writing executive order after executive order. Then you have the rainbow law that he wrote. And then you have this right here, which is the blue. This is literally everybody except Foundation of Black Americans. And when we did play something that pertained to us, it was brothers and sisters graduating, getting the finger wagged at them while they were sitting in the goddamn rain. Yep. And Tyler Perry says, this guy's FBA. Goddamn shame. This is it right here, family.
Well, as some of you are aware, several weeks ago, we lost two of New York's finest, Rafael Ramos and Wenjin Liu. They were serving their community with great honor and dedication and courage. And all of New York grieved and all of the nation grieved. It was a reminder of the incredibly difficult and dangerous work that so many of our law enforcement officers are engaged in every single day. I had a chance to meet the families of officers Ramos and Lou at the memorial that we did just a few days ago. But it's important for us not only to honor their memory, it's also important for us to make sure that we do everything we can to help ensure the safety of our police officers when they're in the line of duty.
It's our job, and it's important to do every single thing we can do to protect them.
Which, by the way, also, because I wanted to make sure I wanted to look it up. Like, this happened back in 2014, the two cops that he's talking about. And one of them was, as I like to call it, South of Bordarian. And the other one was Asian. They both work in the NYPD. And the person who did it, based on this name, I'm trying to see if I can find their name was Ismail Abdullah Brinsley. That was the person who killed him. And I don't know if he took himself out after it, but it says that it was 3 deaths, the 2 cops and himself. So I don't know if they got him or if he took himself out. But look at it only took 2 cops to get killed for him to sign a whole bill that will protect all of them across the board, not just in the NYPD, but any department. How many black people have been killed even before that and didn't get not one anti-black hate crime bill on the books? But he sat up and said Trayvon Martin could have been my son.
Woo-hoo. In an election year, brother.
Right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, when he said that about Trayvon, it was pretty much when he was up for re-election. So it's like
because it happened in the beginning of 2012. It happened in February. It happened the night of the All-Star weekend. That's when it happened.
Wow. Okay, so that would coincide. I'll say, okay, so that right there when he made that statement with the whole Trayvon Martin situation, that was literally a few probably months, give or take,
before the election for his second term, or what would become his second term.
Damn. And remember, we were supposed to wait until his next election to where we could get something done. Nobody else had to wait.
And get this, not to be outdone, you had Trayvon Martin being murdered by George Zimmerman in February of 2012. Then in November of 2012, I think it had to be probably after the election, you had the murder of Jordan Davis by Michael Dunn, also in Florida, also the same age as Trayvon Martin.
Yup. No law. Okay, since now we just gonna roast. Okay, we don't pulled out the receipts. Now we're gonna roast. Y'all get ready to laugh at this one. Afro, I'm throwing this to you, bro, because I wanted to see what you guys say about this. This is this man. We want to talk about cosplaying, right? So we broke down all the laws and all the BS. Like I said, we're going 100 miles an hour. We breaking it all down and exposing them. Family, listen to this man go over there. And by the way, if y'all don't like bad raps, and y'all go ahead and plug your ears because this is about to be terrible. Listen to this man.
And again, look at the crowd. Look at the crowd behind him.
God damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. Hey, Torian, check this out, bro. Watch how bad this gets right here, family. Watch this man trying to speak on hip hop. And then he takes digs at us in front of those people. And then
that must be the K-pop crowd.
Brother, exactly. And it's funny because this hip hop is celebrating this 50th year. Watch how he was basically trying to pull some, hip hop needs to do better. Black folks need to pick themselves up by the bootstrap while he was out there entertaining that K-pop. Check this out.
Before I answer your question, why don't you give me a little rap? Let's see what you got. Come on.
I'm cringing already.
Do you need like a little beat?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. Come on.
Vietnamese or English?
In Vietnamese. Of course.
Vietnamese?
Now I won't know what it means, but just a short version because I got to get going. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Hold
on. What was that? What was that?
Hey, he thought he was flexing. Hold on, fuck that. I gotta run it back. I'm sorry, y'all.
Man.
Y'all listen to the worst.
What was that?
Do you need like a little beat?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
What? Y'all, I'm crying over here. Black Alpha, you could have gave me some kind of a good warning. Like, I did not know he was going to do that. I already was cringing when he started to talk, but what was
that man just spit on the microphone and thought it was that ain't how it worked, Obama. I know that's how they do it in Kenya or Hawaii, but no, brother, that ain't it.
I didn't even catch that part. I didn't even catch the part.
And now the scary part about it is that with him trying to give them a beat, which was horrible. I can only imagine what they're going to sound like trying to rap.
It sounded like he dropped the microphone. That's what it sounded like. He dropped the microphone.
Hey, what they say, but wait, there's more. Here we go, family. Right here.
Hey, come on.
Vietnamese or English?
In Vietnamese.
In
course.
Vietnamese?
I won't know what it means, but
Okay.
just a short version because I got to get going. Go ahead.
Tình hình một mình nhà lầu trên anh giàu sang như vua chúa giật mình sự tình thiệt ra đen đúa mà đời vậy là hay it's been a crazy day khi mà ta nhắm hai đôi mắt xuống mái chèo chơi với mày.
Hold up.
My name is Suboy, by the way.
Well, that was good.
What was that?
Thiệt ra đen đúa mà đời vậy là hay it's been a crazy day khi mà ta nhắm hai đôi mắt xuống mái chèo chơi với mày. My name is Suboy, by the way.
Well, that was good.
That's why I said this is the K-pop crowd right here. This is the K-pop crowd. Like when you think of them K-pop, that's them.
My name is Suboy, by the way.
Oh, brother, man, that whole non-FBA side just came out right there, brother. That was the whole non-FBA side.
Wait.
Well, that was good.
That was horrible.
See there?
Oh my God.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
What were you just rapping?
He said
what
that's pretty good. He doesn't. He
I was
just
just
said,
talking about some people
he
having a
doesn't
lot
know
of money.
what
having
that means. He literally said, "Oh, if you say it in Vietnamese, I won't know what it means." She said a whole bunch of stuff. He's like, "That was good." How would you know that was good? You just said you don't know Vietnamese. Why are you lying? He just lying.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what it means, but it was good though.
That was good.
What? Big houses, but actually, are they really happy? So
okay,
yeah, a lot of things that people look at us and see like different thing and something they assume, or a lot of like stereotype, like like me Asian rappers, like looking at the cute girls, and people don't know.
Is that what they think?
But for Vietnamese people, it's different. They think rapping is not like for women.
Well, that's true in the United States too. I mean, I just mean that there's always been sort of sexism and gender stereotypes in the music industry, like every other part of life.
Right there, that's it, right there, brother. You see, had to throw that in there. He had to be like, okay, there go those, those misogynistic black men. They do that in America too now, so that happens over here. So that right there is another prime example of this non-FBA dude running his mouth. I got another one for you. Not as bad as that one, Torian. So you good, brother. Not as bad as
that. Thank you for providing my laugh of the evening and practically the laugh of the day. I feel like I got a mini ab workout, from that. I didn't expect to laugh that hard, but that was horrible.
This man said, "Boop, boop,
Wow.
Hey, the little dance he was doing, or whatever the hell that was, brother. Gee,
that was good. That was good. You don't know what it means. He just said he doesn't know what it means.
Right.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Here we go, family. I'm gonna play this clip right here. This right here, at the end of the day, is who we dealing with when we start dealing about dealing with Barack Obama. We could talk about all the laws, and I could play like a million more clips, particularly him giving the right to marry to other communities and all of that, left and right. But let's get straight to the brass tacks. Let's talk about his position on reparations. And I'm going to tell this to the whole family. If you really start trying to dig on his position for reparations, you have to dig, because the man never brought it up. He never brought up reparations in no way, shape, or form. It's damn near, it's basically hidden. Anything he's ever said about reparations, you can see that he spoke more about reparations after he was president, because during his presidency, there's no footage of him talking about reparations. I did not find one. at all. I never even seen him talking about tangibles for foundational Black Americans. All I see is him speaking on, signing laws for other people or doing terrible beatboxing. I don't even know where the hell he was in that last video, by the way. I don't know where that was. But you notice that when it comes down to us, you see the change in energy. I mean, the man's whole demeanor changes. It goes from he wasn't, let me say something. You finger wag some brothers who are graduating from Morehouse, but you sit there and you're clapping and saying how you like that last bullshit rap that Lucy Lou or whatever was just doing a minute ago.
Lucy Lou.
Lucy Lou sitting there. You say you don't know what she's talking about, but then you sit there and you dance and you bob to it. But when it comes to us, all of a sudden now you start seeing that change in energy. So you see this man's whole shift. But before I play that, family, before I go there, what do y'all feel his legacy is going to be in foundational Black America, in our circles? What do y'all feel his legacy is going forward already now? Do you feel that they're going to, because I believe that they tried to Martin Luther King him. I think they tried to Token Luther King, White and Luther King. They tried to hit us with that type of energy, and it didn't really work. They spent billions of dollars to use him as a symbol of racism is over, and that lasted, 2 elections? What do y'all feel is going to be his legacy moving forward when it comes to foundational Black Americans?
Torrin, you go ahead.
I think it's going to be a shady one. Like, people are going to, of course, acknowledge, the historical aspect of it, with his first term especially. But when you think about how he's acted, even more so after the presidency, and even more so of what was going on, even I would say definitely in that second term, then people are gonna really thoroughly examine it. And it's like, for everyone else, he was a great president, but for us, the ones that supported him the most as a collective, not so much. And I think a lot of people are going to really acknowledge that, or at least they should. Now, what the historians put out there is another story, because, a lot of them going to put a lot of embellishments in there. And, it's going to be some people that's like, well, we can easily pick that apart. But as far as his legacy with us, remember what he said when it came to Hillary Clinton back in 2016. He basically did the same thing Joe Biden did when he said, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black.
Yep.
With Hillary, he was saying, look, if you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, then you're not securing my legacy. And we were sitting in the arrogance of it all. And I think that was a wake-up call to a lot of Black people that was supporting him. It was like, wait a minute. Do you know what Hillary Clinton said about Black people, calling them super predators, and what her husband did with 3 strikes, along with the person who helped draft it up, with that crime bill? It's crazy. Black people got a crime bill and not an anti-Black hate crime bill. So, I mean, as far as his legacy goes, it's on shaky ground. It's definitely not hollow.
I would say it's almost the opposite of what Dr. King's legacy is going to be. You notice how a few years ago, not a few years ago, but some years ago, it was Black people who really didn't view Dr. King in a favorable light, because they viewed Dr. King as the passive integrationist, the person who said, turn the other cheek. They didn't really know who Dr. King was at the time. It wasn't until we started really telling the truth about what Dr. King was about and about what he really stood for, then people started to see Dr. King in his full perspective. So it was the community kind of not liking Dr. King to actually starting to grow a sense of love and respect for Dr. King. And I feel like the opposite is going to be Obama's legacy, where when Obama came out, everybody was like, oh my God, the first Black president, he's so great. He's so smooth. He's so funny. He's fantastic. And everybody loved him. And then the more people find out about Obama, the more people are going to dislike Obama and even hate Obama even. So it's like how Dr. King's legacy went from, they tried to lie and make him seem like something he wasn't, but when you tell the truth, his respect and love went up. It's the same thing. They try to lie and make Obama seem like something he wasn't, but when you tell the truth, his respect and love went down. So that's what I think is going to happen in the future.
It's kind of like that reverse
happening
effect. Right. It is funny though, brother. Ain't it crazy? Like it's been like a reverse effect by what they were trying to do. You know, they would want nothing more than to have us like love Obama, like our brother was just saying, the same way, you know, they used to always try to, you know, get us stuff. Martin Luther King had a dream, because let's be real, how they took the I have a dream speech and they twisted it to use it and weaponize it against us. That's exactly what Yes We Can was. They wanted Yes We Can to be the 21st century version of that, to where anytime that we would say something about supremacy, they say, yes, we can. You know, same way they would tell us, what would Martin do? Martin had a dream, now stop. Racism went away, supremacy is your friend. They wanted to do that with the Yes We Can, and we really ran that off the block, 2 years after he wasn't president anymore? When he was president, okay, the boule and everybody was kind of running things. Now that the Black grassroots is in full, you know, control and command, we got that out the paint. So if anybody comes around and says that, hell, I don't even hear that anymore. You know, yes, we can. And y'all know from the, you know, the stickers and the goddamn slogans and everywhere they promote that, they spent billions of dollars trying to get that internationally known. And the man can't even step in any foundational Black American circle without being called out on it. So kudos to us. And that's why we always say, man, we've really made some changes that are inevitable. And we have to really, you know, pat ourselves on the back, because if it wasn't for the Black grassroots, Holden Martin wouldn't be running around here acting like he really gave a damn about what happened in Alabama. That Karen earlier with the Joker laugh in the goddamn in the stretched face, she wouldn't be running around here acting like she gave a damn. Lucy Liu wouldn't been right there rapping. You know, everything has something to do with us, and that's the main, you know, factor that we put forth. Now, on the terms of reparations, this is what I want to say for last. When you start talking about reparations, and this being the lineage of reparations era, we had a guy who ran around here and claimed that he was the first Black president and he was FBA, because I don't care what nobody says. He was acting like he was FBA. They lived in the flat blackness world. They did not live in the lineage-based world. Well, we had to dig and find out some quotes that he had about reparations. And what I've come to find out through my own research is that 99, and I mean it, 99% of the times that he mentioned reparations were after he was president. During his presidency, I could not find one quote, and I studied for hours to find any time he ever mentioned reparations. He would always dodge it. Now, I heard people ask him about reparations, but he would answer the same way he was doing Afro about Planned Parenthood, and somehow he starts talking about Advil and Tylenol and stuff like that. He would avert that conversation. I spent hours trying to find any quote of him speaking on reparations for foundational Black Americans, and I seen nothing. But what I did end up finding after research is him speaking about reparations after the fact. And every single thing that he said about reparations was complete bullshit. And it shows you right now what we've already known, what we done pulled the paperwork, snatched the lid off, is that this is a non-FBA cosplayer, and the cosplaying has ran out of time. And foundational Black Americans, we are the ones responsible for that. This right here is a direct quote from Barack Obama speaking on reparations, and this is how he truly feels about the lineage movement that we are on. So the Yes We Can era has left, and in is the Hail to the No era. This is what he said. He says, these challenges will not go away with reparations. So while I applaud and agree with the underlying sentiment of recognizing the continued legacy of slavery, I prefer to focus on issues that will directly address these problems and building a consensus to just do that. Now, the first statement, he's got more, and I'm going to break down each one of them. First off, he starts off with, our challenges won't go away with reparations. That is an anti-reparation statement. Then he says he applauds basically the fact that we acknowledge that there is, and he, by the way, he said underlining sentiment of the legacy of slavery. So basically saying racism and anything we deal with in terms of supremacy is low key, it's nothing major. But then he threw in at the end, we need to build a consensus just to do that. Basically saying all lives matter. This right here in this book right here, and William Darity came out and spoke about him, and he said this is an example of Obama's hesitance to support reparations. And we always speak about how, in terms of the book From Here to Equality, that is a direct line that a lot of people did not know that Barack Obama had actually been aware of. Well, he was aware of it. It's just something that he never, ever gave any light to, any focus on. And it shows you that when it comes to reparations and being anti-reparations, Barack Obama was on the front line. How do y'all feel? And I'll ask you, Afro, then I'll swing it to Torian. How do you feel about just that small paragraph? And I got another quote from him speaking about reparations. By the way, I had to pull out the shovel. I had to pull out goddamn every tool, had to get it, the bulldozer, all of this because they locked away everything that he said about reparations. You ain't gonna find no videos of it. You might find once or twice some quotes, but you're never going to find videos. How do you feel about the way he's trying to placate that brother, how he's trying to deflect and project, and how he's basically evading the question? That's to you, Afro.
Now, the first thing I want to say, now he says he agrees with the sentiment because he can't say, no, I oppose reparations. He agrees with the sentiment, but he would prefer to do something that will directly address the problems. And he doesn't follow that up with anything. What else besides reparations? If reparations won't fix everything, nobody's saying that it will, but if reparations won't fix everything, and he says, I prefer to do something that will directly address these issues, what do you have? He hasn't done anything that directly addressed any of the quote problems. And notice he doesn't state what the problem is. He didn't say the problems of racism, the problems of the legacy of slavery. What he says, directly address those problems. Okay, what in place, if you have a better idea besides reparations, what in place should we focus on outside of reparations that will directly address those problems? And he doesn't say that. He says, oh yeah, I got something. I like reparations, but there's a better idea. What's the better idea? And he leaves it off at that. He deliberately leaves it off at that.
What'd you pick up on, Torian? What BS popped up on your radar?
Well, kind of to piggyback off of what Afro was saying, because I definitely agree with everything excuse me, that he just said. It's a bunch of BS. It's just a bunch of word salad that makes no sense. And it's the same old thing that we've been hearing over and over again from various other people, and he is no different. Amazing he waited till after his presidency to say this. He could have said that during his presidency because everyone else been saying the same thing too. I don't know why you waited until after the fact, because that's what we've been hearing from everybody else. They kind of said it in their own way, not the exact same way that he did, but because he wouldn't qualify, now he has something to say. That's why I had did that video about Germany saying that they were going to pay Holocaust survivors like $1.4 billion, and it was going to like expand for like the next 4 years, starting in 2024 to like 2028 or something like that. And I said, keep that same energy, because no one says anything when they're getting paid or when they're getting reparations or any other group is getting some type of tangible. But for some odd reason, when it comes to us, it's always looked at, oh, you just need to work. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop looking for a handout. Get off welfare. All this, that, and the third. Or they'll say welfare is a form of reparations. No, it is not, because anybody can qualify from it. And some will steal from it. I'm looking at you, Brett Favre. You ain't off the hook. I'll be checking Google every day just to see if there's any updates about him. None recently, but I'm on it. But yeah, it's some of the same old when it comes to him. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Now, he went a little further on this conversation. And mind you, this is, once again, him deflecting, projecting, denying more. Now, listen to this. As that was very, very terrible, the last statement that he made, listen to this one right here. And this is full of more projections than this. Family, everybody out there, this is the extent of what you're going to hear when it comes to reparations from Barack Obama. This is a Black Alpha exclusive. You are not going to find this man speaking on reparations directly or specifically at all. These are the quotes that after digging up that you find, because they've locked away anything he's ever said about reparations, because he knows that certified foundational Black Americans in this era and this generation are locked in on it, and we will get our reparations. So they don't want Barack Obama to be associated with it, and that's cool, because just like anybody else, we done ran his ass out the paint and put him on the corner like a trash day. He proceeded and say this. He said, if we have a program, for example, a universal health care, all lives matter, that will disproportionately affect people of color because they're disproportionately uninsured. If we have an agenda that says every child in America should, every child in America. Now, the question was about reparations for foundational Black Americans based on slavery. And he's already said people of color. he's used the term disproportionately because whenever they say disparity or disproportionate, they're basically saying symptoms of supremacy, but we're not going to actually tell you who. Like you were just saying, Afro, they'll say those and them and they, but they won't ever deal in specifics. They're always ambiguous and they always speak in the abstract. So he starts saying somehow, some way, children in America should get and should be able to go to college regardless of income. That will disproportionately affect people of color. Again, there it goes. This is a paragraph, and he's already used people of color twice because it oftentimes, he says, are children who can't afford to go to college. What the fuck that got to do with foundational Black Americans, and what the fuck that got to do with slavery? Y'all tell me the bullshit y'all detected in that statement right there for the family and anybody else who's picked up on anything. What do y'all feel? What you catch, Torian?
Definitely him mentioning people of color twice. Because I like whenever I hear that term, I like immediately tune you out, especially if it's, you know, it's meant for us. I always say, don't throw us into that category of people of color. Like, let them have that. Like, you know, we're foundational Black Americans over here, and that's just it. So when I saw him like do all of the wordplay again, it's the same old thing we've been hearing from all these other groups. They say, we'll give this out to you as long as we can include other people in it. And they always like to use the universal health care. They love to use the education part. Those are the two they love to go the most. Why? Because that's the part or the thing that the government regulates. See, when it comes to reparations and actual, like, you know, cash payments, once it comes into our hands, the government can't control it. And they want to have something where the government still has their hand in the pot somehow, some way.
Afro, I'm gonna play this other. I'm gonna show. See, I can't say play a clip because the motherfucker ain't ever spoke on reparations. I'm gonna read this other quote about his reparations non-agenda, non-plan, and this is where it gets worse. This is the worst of the worst right here. So it went from bad to worse to terrible right here. This is the last thing he said about reparations that I could find, and this right here is him giving every excuse. So I want everybody to ask me: is this not the same exact thing that we hear when we hear reparations opposition today? This is the same reparations opposition that we always see. And I'm talking from every single community, both political parties, tethers, everybody. This is coming from Mr. Barack Obama, and it sounds just like tether babble. He says, you know, the fact is that dealing with some of the legacy of discrimination, you notice he always says the legacy. He never says current. See, when you say legacy, that's past tensing it. That puts you on the Carolyn Bryant's, and you know it went on a long time ago, before Martin had a dream and before Barack said yes we can. So he makes sure he slides in the term legacy. That's reverse psychology. Anyway, he says some of the legacy of discrimination is going to cost billions of dollars, and we're not going to be able to have that kind of resource allocation unless all Americans feel that they are invested in making this stuff happen. That right there, once again, family, is we need everybody on board. And anyone who says that we need everybody on board with reparations is basically saying that they don't want reparations because they know everybody won't ever be on board. So that's a sneak way of opposing it. And then at the end, he follows up by saying this. After all that bullshit right there, number one, here's bullshit number two. He says, and so, you know, I'm much more interested in talking about how do we get every child to learn? How do we get every person health care? How do we make sure that everybody has a job? How do we make sure that every senior citizen can retire with dignity and respect? So basically saying is that making every child learn, making every person have health care, making sure every person has a job, and making sure every senior citizen can retire. All of that is possible, but making reparations for us is impossible. And that motherfucker didn't say some people. He said he's going to make sure everybody can do it. So he's saying that he can make a law, an agenda, and a plan where everybody can have that. That's realistic to him. But making reparations for us, the same way he wrote all those other executive orders for everyone else, is impossible. I call, detect, spotlight, frame bullshit. How about you, Brother Afro?
I definitely do. I definitely do. And the thing is that Obama's policies, a lot of his policies, as far as the same-sex marriage thing, as far as the immigration policies, as far as all of the drone strikes, people don't talk about this often. As far as all of the drone strikes and all of the bombings he's done to foreign countries, he didn't get an opinion poll on that. It's only foundational Black Americans where everybody has to be on board. And if everybody's not on board, then it just can't happen because it's going to cost billions. First off, he really lowballed it with billions. You mean trillions of dollars? That B should be a TR, okay? It's going to cost trillions of dollars, not billions of dollars. But the principle of the fact that essentially saying white people don't agree with it, so we can't do it. They're not all going to agree. There is not a single thing in this country. Let's honestly ask this. Everybody didn't agree with Obamacare. Everybody wasn't on board with Obamacare. Everybody's not going to agree with everything. This is a country of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. So everybody's not going to agree on that thing. But the thing is that the president doesn't care what everybody agrees on. It's never been a thing of the president caring what everybody agrees on. The president says, I'm the president, we're the government, we're going to decide how to move. We're not going to take an opinion poll on every single decision. That's what voting is for. You vote for people to be in place because you feel like their decision making is going to fit your interests. That's the whole principle of voting. If you voted for every single bit of legislation, you wouldn't have to vote for a president because it wouldn't matter at that point who's the president or who isn't if you're voting for every bit of legislation. But the thing is, the average person doesn't vote for every bit of legislation. This is why we vote for people to be in positions so they can make the legislative decisions that we want them to make. So the conversation of, well, you know, everybody's not going to agree on it, so we can't do it, that has never, ever been done before. The American government does not operate that way. All right, it's blasphemy for him to even say that. So we're going to focus on things that white people are going to agree with: healthcare, retirement, children learning. That's stuff that makes everybody happy because he knows reparations is offensive to people who do not qualify for reparations. That's really what it is.
And who cares what they offended by and what they think?
Okay, which one of y'all want to take that right there? Y'all, who wants to take that?
Obama is FBA, but raised in Hawaii and Asia. Torin, you got that.
I don't know if this person was like, I don't know if they was just like, I don't know if they were trying to be funny or if they was pointing something out, but how would that even be possible? Let's look at his parents. Starters, we're looking at one right here on the screen. That's his mother. So that's strike one. We saw a picture of him with his dad, and his dad was born from Kenya. That's strike two. His grandmother on his mother's side, her mother is white. That's strike three. Yeah, out of there.
He was first off. Where the Asian come
FBA
from?
In that man.
That's what confused me. So that's why I had to go at it at another angle. Yeah, Asia. Where did that come from?
I've never heard of that before. How are you born in two places?
Newsflash, everybody. That man, hey, they trying to slide people. You can't put the FBA jacket on anybody you want to be FBA. Either you are or you're not. And by the way, that's his mother, right? So Barack Obama, he is an SOK, the son of a Karen. All right. He has nothing to do with anything that is foundational. He has nothing to do with anything that is freedman. He has nothing to do with anything that is of the lineage. That is an SOK, son of a Karen. This man ain't never been around black folks until he was a college student. And then when he got around black folks, you can obviously see that and that bullshit ass beatboxing that he's doing. That Karen side right there pops out all the time. So this dude ain't got nothing to do with no FBA. And stop trying to put that FBA jacket on this man. It don't fit. Okay, he ain't even got the style. He ain't got the soul to wear it.
And he's a junior.
Damn.
Yeah, his dad. He's named after his dad.
I always wonder where that forehead came from. Oh, okay. So that forehead makes a lot of sense, brother. It makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. And as a matter of fact, Barack Obama, he is not at all the son, or he is not at all the descendant of a slave. He is the descendant of slave masters. That's what he is. He is a descendant of slave master. He's an ADOSO, all right? American descendant of slave masters. That's what it is right there. This man is non-FBA, and he has far more slave master than he has any field at all in him. Not happening, no way. So that right there, and anybody who's trying to put the FBA jacket on him like they did before in the past, and like somebody's going to try to do right here, and just like the dude left the comment, it ain't going to happen. We know an FBA when we see one, and he is not FBA. And FBA sees your ass from a mile away. So that right there lets everyone know who's real, who's not, who's certified, who's counterfeit, who's artificial, and who's authentic, and he is not authentic at all. I'm going to ask y'all this question real quick, fam, before we wrap it on up, because I believe that the receipts is on the table. I believe the spoilers, and I believe that the roast always continues. How do y'all feel right now about gatekeeping the culture? Because I was saying this earlier today, where the Alabama situation, all these folks are trying to put their little fingers in on what we did and what we create. Y'all know that FBA culture is always trying to be stolen, snatched, ripped away from us by people like Barack Obama from the political world, all the tethers from outside. Is Barack Obama a tether? That's my question. Is Barack Obama a tether? Because if we say that some of these other folks is tethers who come over here last night or are the descendants of non-FBAs and they bite, they mooch, they leech off the culture. Question I ask to y'all, is Barack Obama a tether?
I would say so. Did you see when he tried to do that whack beat? And then tried to pass it off to the Asian, and then tried to pass it off to the Asian girl or to the Asian woman.
That was definitely drinking with tether.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he's the tether. Oh, he's the tether for real. Oh, he's the tether for real, for real, for real. Acting like he faced some type of racism. They always trying to keep a black man down. The system always trying to keep a black man down. Dude, this man probably has never even identified as black before. Before he knew it was politically advantageous for him, he probably didn't identify as black. This man dated a whole bunch of white women right before Michelle Obama. You know, Michelle Obama was the only black woman he would touch, the only black woman he would see be alone in the same room. Obama is probably like the grandfather of tethers, if we're gonna be honest, because he let a lot of them come over here. You know what I'm saying? Now there was a lot over here beforehand, but I mean, if I can't think of a worse tether than Obama, as far as the legislation, as far as what he is allowed to happen, he's got to be the grandfather of tethers right there.
He's up there.
Let me ask y'all
pretty high.
All right, and this person right here thought that I was going to end this episode without getting on them too. Would this person right here be at least second place?
Oh my God. Look at that Asian with a little afro. Damn. Yeah, second place. Oh, that would be, if you want to divide it up between male and female, she would be the first place with females. I would put her as first place in the female category.
But they swore up and down she was black.
She's not even the darkest person in the picture.
She really isn't.
Damn. She been eating them collard greens. Y'all believe she was eating collard greens for real? Y'all think she was really going to get them South Carolina collard greens?
No, she wasn't eating no collard
greens.
Cap,
huh?
Keep in mind, this is a picture. She's a grown adult. This isn't a picture where she was a kid and, you know, she was with that culture when she was young, and then she grew up on FBA culture. She grew up with this culture all the way into her adulthood.
Yeah, this is her, like, I don't know what age she is right here, but I'm only going to assume that this had to be probably at least the late 80s, early 90s. Had to be.
About that, based off the camera quality and tint. That's probably accurate. She was on a full-grown adult. Now, mind you, she was saying in the 80s and 90s that she was smoking weed and listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg in college. This
Yeah,
if
she
you
did.
look at it chronologically, this is the same time, around the same age where she took this picture is the same age where she was saying she was listening to Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg and smoking weed in college. So
hey, that wasn't even a good one, was it, brother? Y'all remember when she said, "What up, Phife Dog?" and Phife Dog passed away?
Oh Lord.
The tether's gonna get called out every single time, brother. Every single time. All right. Now, before I let everybody roll out, man, because y'all know we got to drop at least 15, 20. Who am I kidding? At least 30, 45 tether receipts, Fleedman receipts. We got to drop them on the table. In this case, a bunch of Obama receipts. This right here is very indicative of this whole episode. This right here is 2 tethers and a tether escorter. Coming around. Hey, shout out to you, brother Afro, because what you call them, culture vulture defenders?
Yeah.
You got the tether defenders, the culture vulture defenders, and all the above. That right there is, as I think we've got an answer here. You have the number 1 tether man and then the number 1 tether female. And right there, and they both just happen to come from the Democratic Party that doesn't do anything. And then you got another guy who's out there just trying to serve them biscuits. But at the end of the day, whenever you try to pull that on foundational Black Americans, it goes nowhere. Just like the legacy of this guy, just like Kamala or Colin McGreen, Kamala, all of them, Medea Perry, none of them are going to ever try to get that off of foundational Black Americans. It ain't working. And this is the era nowadays where we replaced all of that right there, all that energy that you've seen, all that finger wagging, all that bullshit, all that fake counterfeit, smut, low budget, Sambo, coon energy. We replace all of that energy right now with some real energy. And this is why things are changing. So gone is the yes, we can era. In is the hell to the no era. And welcome to Certified Black Society. So with that said, we changed all of that. And now we have all of this right here because this is the certified way. This is how Certified Foundational Black America. So y'all know we couldn't leave this motherfucker without the chair saying hello and goodbye to everybody, man. So we had to bring it on in, man. So if y'all got a good chair,
start is how you finish.
Y'all make sure y'all support y'all chairs. You know what I mean? Y'all make sure you take good care. You gotta finish strong, man. Just like old buddy did. He finished strong, and we gonna finish strong. So certified salute to all my folks in Alabama, and an extra certified salute to that damn chair. And I got a couple chairs in the other room right here, and I'm gonna take good care of them, man. So with that said, family, y'all brothers, man, tell everybody where they can find y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming through the Black Alpha Network, man. We dropped a whole gang of receipts on all of them. We talked about everything that's going on in this era. We pretty much closed the door on the past. We closed the door on all the cosplayers, all the counterfeits, all the wannabes, all the I wish I was FBAs, and we send them out packing. And now we brought in this new era, and this new era is all about us. What are you guys working on? I'll start with you, brother Afro. What you working on, family? Anything, and where can people find you? And if y'all subscribe to me, y'all already know y'all can find my brother Afro, man. It's the whole vanguard. But go ahead, tell everybody where they can find you, what you're working on, brother, and go ahead and just chop it up with the family.
Well, right now we're doing a lot in Chicago as far as getting people to spread the message. We're creating a grassroots agenda for what reparations can be. We're trying to create the precedent of what reparations can be and try to spread that message on a grassroots level so we can actually get the agenda of what reparations is supposed to be in the precedent, not just for Chicago, but really for the whole nation as far as what reparations is supposed to be. So we're having meetings. We have an upcoming one this Friday, and I've posted details about that on my social media pages, so you guys can check that out. But this Friday we're having an upcoming meeting where we're going to be furthering the push. Is the upcoming meeting is going to have people there so we can discuss what the plan is, because we have like an actual event that we're going to be doing things in. So that's what we're going to be doing in Chicago. You guys can find me. Also we have another event, Ozone. Shout out to our brother Ozone. We have another Ozone event coming up later this month. More details coming soon as far far as that's concerned, because we haven't gotten the date 100% set yet, but we're getting that. But it is coming this month, so we're bringing our brother home. So I hope every single person, whether you're listening to me live or recorded, you guys make sure you guys are there so we can support our brother in his final campaign to come home. So that's going to be later this month. The details for that is not quite finished yet, but follow me and I'm going to be, updating you as far as that's concerned. You guys can follow me on Afro Elite on YouTube. That's the main thing. The Afro Elite on Twitter, and then Afro Elite on Instagram. It's pretty much Afro Elite on everything. It's Afro Elite on essentially everything.
What you got planned, man? What you working on, brother Torian? You know I be tapped in front row, man, so I already be knowing, but let everybody know what you're working on, brother. Any projects and where they can find you at, brother.
All right. So, tomorrow I'm going to have a video coming out about a man by the name of Patrick Braxton out there also in Alabama, ironically, who was running for mayor. He actually did win the mayoral seat by a very large margin, but a small white minority group down there is actually blocking him from actually fulfilling his position. And they're pulling like a whole bunch of underhanded tactics. You'll be able to see it in the video itself. And basically, people will get a glimpse of what systemic white supremacy looks like in 2023. So when people think that, racism, white supremacy only goes as far as someone calling a black person the N-word, this video is going to show you, when you have a system in place, how a minority group of people in a town that's overran by over 80% of black people still have a lot of power, even though they're still the minority. You're going to see how that actually works. And of course, like I said at the beginning, I kind of plugged it at the beginning for those of you who missed it. This upcoming Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be finally addressing or doing a live about what happened in Alabama. That'll be my take on that. What I wanted to do is I wanted to wait until I'm sure everyone has saw the video, which I'm sure by now everybody's already watched it at least over 10 times. At least.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody has seen it first. That way, the discussion will be much more easy to talk about. And then, we'll give some updates surrounding it, because it's still stuff coming out about it since that video has gone viral. And that's pretty much all I have going on right now. Oh, and also y'all can follow me on here. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Torian Rain Reloaded. You can follow me on Twitter if you have it, at Torian Rain Reloaded. And if you are on Instagram, it's at Torian_Rain.
Much respect. Hey, before we go, family in the chat, because y'all know I love the chat. Give me at least one or two names that we should name the holiday after what happened in Montgomery, Alabama, before we close up. I need somebody to give me something, please. I know y'all fast, y'all witty, y'all quick. Before we close this door and we wrap it up, what should we name that holiday? Okay, because it has to be a holiday. I told you in my house, it's already on the calendar. We need some real names that we're going to call this, because if they don't want to, represent us, we're going to represent our goddamn self. We're going to celebrate ourselves. We ain't got to look for nobody else. What should we call this situation that went on? Because I want to harness that energy, and it's way better than Hip Hop History Month. It's way better than that. It's way better than Juneteenth that they done took and try to run with. It's better than Black History's Month. What should we call what went on in Montgomery, Alabama? Y'all put it in the chat. Y'all put it in the comment section. Please let me know, because what I want to do, real talk, I want to take that day. I want to big that day up, and every single year, I want to bring the whole family up on board and do a whole goddamn show. We will, reflect on it. We will commemorate it every goddamn year. We'll pull out the chair. I'll pull out my real chair. Fuck a meme. I'll go in the back and just have I have 5-6 chairs just sitting right here. We'll interview the fucking chair, whatever you want to do, but we're going to make sure that it's all about foundational Black Americans. What I say already. See, y'all quick. Damn. Bama Slammer. All right, I'm rocking with that one. The Riverfront Punch Bowl. I like that, with the Battle of the Bama. Boy, y'all see, I love y'all. Harriman Olympics. Damn. The Sun Tea Party 2023. Get Back Days. John Brown Day. What we... Malcolm Sock'em Day. I can't even put them all up so fast. Hold on, I'm going to try. Y'all know y'all funny as hell for that one. The Chairman Olympics. I wish I would have came up with that one. God damn it. Oh, right there. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. We need a flag with a chair on it. Oh, yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Damn, y'all quick. I can't even get them all up, y'all. Goddamn. Montgomery, Alabama family beatdown day. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's our goddamn day. I promise y'all. This time next year, we're going to do a big ass show. We're going to have every single FBA, all the certifieds. We'll have a whole goddamn table of all of us, a big circle, and we'll sit down, we'll break it down, and we'll bring it all the way back to where it started. And it always ends with Certified Foundation of Black Americans. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and close up because y'all know I can talk for another 3, 4, 5, but I'm going to go ahead and get out there. I got a grilled cheese sandwich I'm about to go ahead and make. Y'all know how it is. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. We about to go full FBA. And I'm probably going to watch some more clips of what happened because, you know, all the new angles are coming out. I thought I already seen all the angles, but there's new ones every day. So I'm going to watch all those angles. I'm eating my goddamn FBA grilled cheese sandwich, and I'm just going to love being certified black and chopping it up with the family. I appreciate both of y'all boys for coming through. Thanks all the time, man. Y'all don't know. I always ask my brothers to come on. I never tell them what the hell we're going to talk about. I got to work on that. But when we get here, man, they be freestyling. I don't even be telling them, y'all. But when they get here, man, we just hit the ground running because when you're certified, you don't have to rehearse it. You just let it flow, man. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay right there, man, because y'all know we got some stuff to chop about, man. So I'm going to bring y'all down real quick, and then I'm going to run it back. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. Certified Foundational Black Americans in the building, in the place. I appreciate the whole family for pulling up. Thanks all the time. Hold on, let me get this all right. Okay. I still see y'all. F around and find out day. God damn, no cap day. Yes, indeed. Ass kicking day. That's what I'm talking about, sister. It's straight to the point. Oh, yeah. Alabama Hammer Day. Damn, man, I can put these all up. All right, I'm going to have to tweet all these out. All right, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thanks for supporting the Black Alpha Network. Thanks for supporting me and my brothers, man. We put in a lot of work. We hold it down. And one thing I do want to say as we sit here and we speak about all the cosplayers and everybody who tries to get in on our culture and we slam that door on them and we don't allow them to do that, it's all about gatekeeping what we create, all right? No man separate what we create. We've created this. This is our lineage. It belongs to us. I'm not talking about a portion of it, some of it. I'm talking about every single piece belongs to us. Foundational Black Americans, certified foundational Black Americans. No counterfeits, no smuts. Nobody can come around here and try to put on that FBA jacket. It don't fit them. You got to have the soul. So the same way that we gatekeep the new black media, our reparations claim, tangibles, is the same way we got to look out for each other. And when I say look out for each other, I mean it. All right. Every time you're around another foundational Black American, you look over their shoulders and they'll look over yours, and each one teach one. We all do a little, we all do a lot. So that's what was great about the situation in Alabama. But guess what? It don't just stop there. We're going to have more and more and more, and we're going to continue to grow and build. That wasn't the start of something. That was the continuous part of it. And that continuous part is what I'm always talking about on the Black Alpha Network. It's the Black grassroots. It's Certified Black Society. It's FBA all goddamn day. And those people there and the way they helped each other down, that unity, that represent what we've really been on for the last 3 to 4 years, okay? When I say 3 to 4 years, it's really been going on for 10. But the last 3 to 4, y'all know we done caught fire. And that same fire, we done slap fire out of some folks. And I'm not even talking about the front. I'm talking about we done backhanded out of them. So whether Karen got to get thrown in some water, whether you got to pull out the old folding chair and go straight WWE on them, or whether you just hold down your fellow FBA, y'all make sure y'all do it. Make sure y'all stay safe. And no matter what y'all do, always remember that black is beautiful and beautiful is always black. One love, peace and love.